Okay. Welcome back, everybody. When last we saw the Trollskull 6, you had reached a point where you felt you could easily set up a sort of fortified camp once the Pact army joined you. But you had a couple of days to kill before then, as they are a much larger, much slower moving force. You spent those days using a combination of very high level magics to explore various parts of the jungle within travel distance of the camp. You quickly discovered that the jungle is far from empty. Aside from the general wildlife with which it teems, it is also infested with minions of the elder dragon Mordremoth, which call themselves the Mordrem. After ethereally scouting part of the deeper reaches, you found your way to what looked like a sort of Mordrem enclave or fortified outpost, in the center of which, in a shallow depression, was a large, desiccated-looking tree that bore all sorts of glowing, pulsating green pustules. From one of these emerged a creature that used to be a Sylvari member of the Nightmare Court. But as you watched, they emerged transformed, not as Fowlin had been, but into something altogether different. Still vaguely humanoid in its arrangement of limbs, but much larger in scale, with tough, bark-like skin, thorny growths, uh, and a very, very changed, very monstrous aspect to them. You heard a little bit about plans for mobilization, and as the Mordrem forces in the camp made their way out into the jungle, presumably to begin some sort of long-planned activity, you eventually, your spells coming to an end, made your way back to the open, kind of flat, shelf-like area at the end of this canyon that you had decided would be a good space to set up the pact. Marshal Treherne was contacted and told you they should arrive based on the information you'd given them probably sometime the next day. And that is where we begin. After a long rest where nothing untoward happens, the early morning sun takes quite some time to fill the canyon and hit the floor fully because of the high, steep walls that flank you to the north and south. It's around midday when the sun has finally kind of wormed its way to fill the canyon floor that you feel a vibration in the ground, faint at first, and as it continues to grow very slowly and gradually, you start to hear the echoes of activity. Many voices, many armored feet, the grinding and groaning of Jar siege engines as they echo out from this long underground tunnel that empties into the canyon in which you are housed. It doesn't take long before the head of the military column of Pact forces emerges from this tunnel. As the soldiers begin to spread out, you can see members of the Order of Whispers um, climbing their way up the cliffs or signaling to others high above. And as you look up, you see that there are members of that contingent doing scouting along the top of the canyon's rim. You see the heavily armored silver and black heavy armor of the Vigil soldiers marching in perfect formation with a loud, clattering, clanking sound, all heavily armed, heavy packs on hand, many of them surrounding as escort the heavy smoke belching char siege craft, about the size of two good wagons put together, but bristling with thick metal plates and sharp spines. You see a great many of the Pact that you know to be members of the Dermot Priory in their blue and gold robes, some marching with staves and standards, others with arcane implements, wands, scepters, and other odd magical apparatus. And finally, about halfway through the column, the commanding officers make their appearance. You are greeted warmly by Steward Gix of the Dermot Priory, General Almora of the Vigil, and Pact Marshal Traherne. Lightbringer Dorn Velasquez of the Order of Whispers notably does not make an appearance. But the other three wave you down as they kind of enter into the space. Everyone kind of skirting around the very large hole into which you deposited the remains of the Vinewrath and Fowlin transformed. But eventually you are all sort of brought together, and Traherne, after flagging you down and approaching, just says, "Hail, friends, and well met. It has been a long journey. I trust you're all safe?"
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone's got all their fingers and toes.
Excellent. You haven't had any more trouble after your last report?
No, we just
I haven't.
found a lot of trouble.
Steward Gix kind of turns to you, his large Azuran ears kind of prick up a little bit. Trouble, you say?
Yeah, I'll give them a rundown on what we saw from the tree.
As you kind of wrap the explanation up, you hear some muttered swearing from General Soulkeeper, kind of under her breath, her long feline muzzle and clenched fanged jaws, like, "Oh, fucking sons of..." And Traherne sort of like looking a little bit confused. "That was a great risk that you took. I appreciate the extra intelligence. Of course, it will be useful." And then you hear about 20 feet behind you, as you turn, Lightbringer Velasquez sort of ripples into visibility as he says, "Actually, Marshal, I quite appreciate the initiative. It saved my people some work. The more intelligence we can gather, the better off we all are, eh? It seems like they did a passable job of taking precautions. Concealed themselves from the enemy. Took no casualties among themselves. I say bravo." And you see
Thank you.
Almora just like crosses her arms. "It was a silly risk. The Vigil could have just pounded its way into those trees. If anything happens to you, I don't know if we'll be able to handle Mordremoth on our own. Not without significant casualties." Traherne says, "Yes, well, you do have a point, General, but Lightbringer Velasquez also makes a valid argument. No harm done. If you don't mind, Commanders, before you decide to take such risks in the future, I would appreciate you at least running it by me."
But once I was not involved in this scheme, I was just kind of hanging it loose here, airing things out. Yeah.
Kaith kind of walks up out of the shadows to the side and says,
Keith and I were having a great conversation.
"Yes, he stayed here most of the time with me, keeping watch on the camp."
Yeah, just keeping an oversight. Yeah, we're all commanders here. We all know how it's done. So, thought I'd just pitch in.
She just sort of raises an eyebrow. Traherne says, well, as I said, no harm done. And we do appreciate the intelligence. I think perhaps we should gather the other commanders and high-ranking officers, begin to plan. This is a fortifiable position, to be sure. An excellent find. You've done very well. General Soulkeeper, I assume you and yours can handle filling in that massive cavity. No problem. We'll take some of the siege engines and knock these rock pillars over. We'll have it cleared in no time. Please do so. Lightbringer, I see your scouts overhead. I assume there are more that I cannot see. Please continue there. Steward Gix, I think you and General Soulkeeper's people will have to be put to task repairing these fortifications and doing our best to create a long-standing home here. We'll need to use this as a base of operations for the length of this operation. How long do you expect that might be, Marshal? To be honest, I don't know. I suppose that will depend on the information our friends here can give us, since they've spent some time looking out beyond the canyon.
This isn't gonna be as quick or as I shouldn't say easy as but there are much more significant logistical challenges here than what we faced with Zaitan.
I think it'll take a couple weeks to get the Pact to where we were scouting.
And there's no way that we can do this on a more subtle end, at least with the number of forces that we possess. And the Mordrem seemed to have... Quick question to clarify. Did it seem like the Mordrem were like about to be like on the move themselves, or that like they just had some plan that was like starting to come to fruition that we were watching?
You watched as they talked about this is the day, now is the time to start what we've been planning, and they moved out of their camp.
And so we don't know where they're going either.
Yeah, you don't know.
Yeah.
It's a big jungle.
So they're on the move, which doesn't make going to where they were last very productive. It would be better to figure out where they are now or where they're going. And how maybe best we can mobilize the folks we do have.
Lightbringer Velasquez says, yes, I think my people will be kept quite busy in the next few days. We'll be working with the Priory, sending out some scouts to see what we can find. We would be grateful for any of your assistance, of course.
It's also not like we can just march an army quickly into the jungle here.
You guys watch as this conversation is happening, General Soulkeeper turns and motions, and this big hulking Norn in plate armor with what looks like kind of like a Roman style helm. It's like a full helm down over his ears to his jawline, a nose piece, like kind of covers where your like lamb chop sideburns would be. You know, it's got like the sort of T for your face, and a big high white crest on the top comes over. What can I do for you, General? Take the men, grab some of these siege engines. Knock these stone pillars over, fill in that gap, set everyone up to bivouac. I can do that. You watch, he just turns and stalks away, his big frame sort of jangling as the armor sort of clanks and clatters. You're right, of course. We can't take the whole pact in there quietly or quickly. We'll have to cut a path as we go. Maybe 2 or 3. Several yards apart. Maybe even send them down 2 or 3 different rivers. I don't know. It'll depend on what the scouts find. And Traherne says, Yes, I think that would perhaps be best, but of course we shall see what the Order of Whispers can provide us. I think for now, let's have a look at what we're dealing with, shall we? And the others nod, and they sort of gesture to you guys to show them the way out the front of the canyon to the cliffs that overlook the jungle. So, over the next hour or so, they follow you out and take a good long walk north and south along the cliff lines, looking at the land that drops away from the cliffs, sloping downward towards the jungle. And it's about like between 10 and 15 miles, like around 12 or 13 probably, between the cliff and the jungle's edge. On foot at a normal pace, it'd take about 4 hours of just walking to get there. But you can see it because you are pretty high elevated above the jungle floor. And there's little, in the way of obstructions between here and there. They explain that, with all the equipment, the supplies, the personnel, it'll probably take the better part of a day to get the entire army down there. The goal is to build over the next couple of days a fortified position here that can be easily defended in the event that they need to pull back, regroup, resupply, or something like that. But the idea is that having established this point, this will remain a sort of beachhead until the problem is resolved in some form or fashion. Is there anything before the building of the camp begins in earnest that you guys would like to accomplish? Whether talking to people or doing things or preparations or anything like that. Okay. All right. So, we're going to do this as one of the old type of skill challenges. Typical 5 successes before 3 failures. The Pact officers, Marshal Traherne, the General, the Steward, and the Lightbringer, and even some of their higher up seconds in command and lieutenants occasionally come and grab you guys and have you help out. I have some example things in case you get stuck or if you don't have inspiration for how you want to use your skills, but I've got something for strength, dex, int, wisdom, cha. So, yeah. I mean,
There's nothing a good performance
can't.
I'm just gonna. No.
So the only thing I really couldn't come up with was for myself. I couldn't come up with a specific item for Arcana or Deception.
How do you deceive people in?
Yeah, deceiving your allies into something is kind of like a little fuzzy. I could probably come up with something for Arcana if I needed to, but I'm sure you guys can as well.
You just tell the troops that none of them are going to die. Everybody's going to make it home.
Hey,
alive.
listen,
Literally
buddy.
just about to say.
Hey, I know you're on the front lines, and I know you're like first wave.
And you
but
only
I
have
think
one
you've got
eye.
You've got a good shot at this, okay? You just keep
Oh,
your
you're
head
your
down,
father's only
march
son.
forward.
Woof. Enjoy.
You and your 3 brothers are in the same company?
Oh, you're all on the front line. Oh dear.
And
You'll
all
all
of
come
you
back.
only have one
let me
eye.
talk to the commanders. I'll see if I can get one of you kind of moved a
You
little
guys are
back.
fucking awful.
War is awful, Ryan.
Or as hell, yeah.
Uh,
Okay. So let's kick this off. Who wants to go first? How are you contributing to building this camp? I will say for inspiration, there are, there is a lot of area to be cleared. There are supplies to manage. There are animals, mounts, things like that to manage. There's personnel and morale. There's scouting. You can keep watch. There's mapping terrain. There's all sorts of stuff that you can do. So really, just about anything that you can think of, we can roll with.
I'll kick us off by saying Brina is really interested in fill in that cavity.
Fill in the hole.
I'll fill that.
And get Brina in that cavity. Let's
Get
go.
me in the cavity. I'm curious.
She's
Okay.
very familiar with holes.
I assume you're thinking athletics.
Yeah.
So we'll say this is helping the vigil soldiers use their machines and their labor to fill that pit, and also to clear out a bunch of like the loose standing stones to make this place a more even place where you don't have like slips, trips, and falls hazards, and make the camp safer and all that stuff. So
I
yeah,
should approve.
and this is not a terribly difficult DC because it's a fairly common thing to do.
20.
All right, that
Brina's
is
like, the bottom of the pit isn't that exciting, in case you're curious. Cool.
all right. That is one success. Keitra, you said you had something.
Yeah. Since there's a lot of like land that needs sort of cleared, and she spent some time investigating around the ruins. She knows there's not like a ton there, but she will transform into her moss heart form, and since she can still talk while she's wild shaped, she'll try to help like set up logistically like camps, or like move big pieces of dirt or rocks, or get things so they can be set up around the like fort area with the knowledge she has, and the strength that she gets because she turns into a giant tree creature, because otherwise she'd just be like, take that over there.
Okay. So what skill is it you're wanting to leverage here?
I don't want to say strength because my strength sucks. But probably something more like, what would you say is good for like someone who wants to like plan to set up a camp? Like she's been here a few days, she knows like how it's set up, where should we put things based on like what they are and what's needed.
I would say that would be an intelligence check. Probably using the investigation skill, like taking the information you have and putting it to you, like applying it, deducing things. So if you
Is there
want to
also
make it
what about
an argument for like
nature?
survival, maybe? In terms of
Nature and
like
survival.
planning out a camp in terms of, I don't know, I'm just trying to.
I was thinking survival also. But I will leave this to you.
I would say there are two options to complete that. So you can absolutely use survival, but I would say that characterizing it, the use of survival skills in setting up the camp would be providing like reports to the commanding officers about the lay of the land, available herbs, available like animals for hunting and supplies to like shore up their provisions, like the nature of the streams and how they move, and like what ground is safe and things like that, which is totally
Yeah.
doable.
Kichu would be reporting that there's no animals here to hunt.
Well,
There's only,
there are some in the
a
jungle.
variety
It's
of.
just, you kind of got to walk to get them.
Oh no, there's no animals here to hunt.
Oh,
These
wink,
aren't
wink.
the droids you're looking for.
I don't know that that's a. I get the joke, but if you want to deceive
I'm not
the
going.
pack,
I won't.
that's-
No. I won't be deceiving.
Yeah, okay.
I guess I'll just go with the like investigation check, because that seems to make the most sense with like physically helping, like set things up, move things around, say, oh, this should go here instead of over there.
Absolutely, yeah.
Nuts. That's a 10.
Yeah, unfortunately, you do the best you can, and your expertise is in the wilds, and Sylvari architecture is unique because it kind of like exists in harmony with that. It plays like in parallel with the rhythms and forms of nature. setting out a military camp is just something that you're very unfamiliar with.
Yeah.
The camp does get set up. It just you realize towards the end of this ordeal that there are some commanding officers kind of going behind you, like, no, I know what the commander said, but no, like, put it back the other way. So we are at 1-1. Who would like to go next?
I want to go. I like what you said. There's animals to handle. I want to try and like
There's
help
all sorts
out.
of pack animals, yeah.
Yeah.
Horses, pack mules, even some like draft animals, oxen and things like that to pull some of the heavier equipment.
Alexa's never really seen a lot of the bigger animals, so this is perfect time to try and get some experience with them.
You find that they're pretty skittish. The scent of the dead things that are buried in the pit, even after it's covered up, and the nature of this canyon, like the feeling of it, and the proximity to danger is making it very uneasy. So you want animal handling?
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Oh, okay.
Perfect.
So I was prepped for that.
Perfect.
No, I was
Okay.
prepped for that. I will attempt to use some of my magical abilities and have guidance on that.
So this isn't like a single action. It's
Okay.
representative over time.
So yeah, I can't use a.
And just
Reroll.
like that, the player gets played.
This is interesting. So we are
Alexa gets kicked by a horse.
we are 1 success and 2 failures.
All right, Birdie will step in
Hodor.
at this point.
Door.
I think what Birdie does is he will. God, I had one thing, but now that we really need a success, I'm tempted to try another. No, we'll go for it. I think he puts his kind of thinking cap on, as it were, and spends a day or two while things are happening. He will kind of get to like a high vantage point above this encampment and like kind of survey what's going on here. I think he might go out with like a little patrol and kind of walk the woods kind of near and around and try to get into the headspace of, if I were going to mount an attack on this fortress, how would I do it? And try to think through like which areas need more work, or like a little more protection or more fortifications here, or this certain type of defense needs to be mounted here because they're likely to rush from this side, that kind of thing. And I'm hoping to leverage like insight in terms of like getting into the enemy headspace, trying to think through how the enemy might think through an attack on this fortress, and using that to improve our defenses.
Birdie the bard is dead. Birdie the war strategist. Rise. Here you
I
go,
would
bud.
also say there could be a case for deception here, as I go out there and like, if I were gonna plan I'm gonna plan a deception against this fortress. What would that look like? And then like use that to kind of prepare the fort defenses.
Okay.
Of course, Bertie didn't want to go out in the woods when it was just scouting, but when it's tromping around with cute soldier boys.
Sorry, Daddy. Sorry, Daddy. Sorry, Daddy. Sorry, Daddy. What?
So you're gonna use insight.
I was hoping to leverage insight.
Okay.
Yeah, for that.
Good, make your insight check.
Fucking
17.
rolled a 3.
It's not bad for a fucking 3. So what you find is as you're kind of walking with the soldiers, marking the perimeter, looking at the ruins, the structure of the canyon, looking for weak points, it becomes clear to you that planning the structure of a camp or trying to determine like weak points and stuff involves a knowledge of military craft and strategy, which is a little bit outside your wheelhouse. And the soldiers notice that they take notice that the bard is with them, but you're asking a lot of good questions, and one of the things that you kind of communally come to realize is that based on your description of the Mordrem and how they operate, some of them were Sylvari, others are more bestial, and they're all kind of tethered to this elder dragon's consciousness. And it's very difficult to gain insight as to what their motivations are without fully knowing how they can attack. And so it ends up taking this more generalized approach of just harden as much as you can on the forest side. So it's a very like westward heavy fortification effort. Most of the work is taking place on the west end side of this area. You also, being embedded and spending time among them with your insight, you pick up on moments when morale starts to flag. Like you notice it. You hear the grumbles. You realize that like these guys who are doing this work are getting really fucking tired of that work, and so you're able like not only to help them point their efforts in a generally more beneficial way, but you're also able to kind of point out to their commanders like, hey, you know, these guys might need a break. You might want to put them on, you know, animal duty tomorrow. Have them, you know, reorganize the supply cards or something. Let some other people do some heavy stone lifting, or else you're gonna have a fucking mutiny on your hands. But it is
Birdie
a
the Bard,
success,
a man of the people.
if nothing else. So we are 2 and 2.
I would like to use survival.
Okay.
Don't even have to
Looking
roll.
for, like,
Success.
where we can get fresh water versus
Ah.
where we should dig the latrines to make sure we don't mess that up.
Mhm.
Looking for some game trails, setting up some traps, showing Char where they could set up ambushes to get food and take like pressure off the supply line.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and make your survival check. Of course. Yeah, no, that's fine. You do just that. I've got nothing better for a description for that. I didn't even actually have a thing for survival, but determining where to dig the latrines so they
Yeah,
don't feed into the
so
groundwater.
Nobody dies of
Very
dysentery.
nice touch. Yeah, very important.
That's good.
I guess I was curious if I could help with like the setup of the sort of food and getting things prepared to like start, you know, making jerky or other things that would be tenable for people to take with them on travel, just prepping food, cooking for some of the soldiers, things like that. And sort of preparing the kitchen area. If I could use my proficiency with cooking utensils to help with all that kind of stuff, or my proficiency with like nature to help them gather and forage for berries and things like that.
Yeah. Actually, go ahead and make your check with your cooking tools.
Okay.
So Galantar puts himself on KP. For those of you who don't know military terminology, it's kitchen patrol. It's usually a punishment, like peeling potatoes.
Turns out he loves it. 25.
Yeah, and he's a deft hand. Yeah. So this takes like 4 or 5 days. You know, it takes a good while to build because they're actually building stone walls and like mortaring them. You see there are a couple of priory like magisters out there like shaping stone and kind of helping to really fortify the western end of this canyon, rebuilding the gates. There are carpenters at work, smiths building like iron bindings, and at the end of every day, people are fucking hungry. People are working up an appetite. And there is a very large section of the camp that is just several tents all set up together, and there's just a constant aroma of fires and delicious savory scents as rations are dried, prepared, packaged, new supplies are brought in, the daily meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner are cooked. And yeah, Galatar applies himself with a will, and each night everyone gets a delightful and satisfying experience around the campfire. So we are 4 and 2. We come down.
Full
This
count.
is make or break right here. Yeah, so each of you
I
have
mean,
gone.
I
Roll the
mean,
dice.
Hey, you plus 16 motherfuckers wanna
I'll okay, Birdie, man of the people as he is, picking up on when people are down, picking up on when a boost is needed. Every night by the campfire, cup of food in hand, everybody sitting around. He's got to break out that loot. Nothing's gonna cheer these guys up like hearing about and I think he'd sing about like the success or like the successful like battle stories from the last dragon encounter, and like how like I need a hero, like like kind of amp him up for like the this is the time kind of thing.
Like a nightly USO show.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. And I'll say you can make your performance check with advantage because of the delicious meal provided by the kitchen staff
Wow.
of Galatar.
With my loot, I already have advantage, but I appreciate
Okay.
the double dip.
Oh,
32, baby.
Yeah.
The crowd is going wild.
All right. Definitely a success. Each night around the communal fires, Bertie makes his rounds from point to point in the camp, and there's actually quite lovely acoustics in this canyon. The bare stone of the walls kind of keeping all the sound in and providing a lovely area for it.
Songs of home, just to yeah.
You get the soldiers singing along. And yeah, and with Kala's 26 for survival, like tapping into Kitri and her moss heart form, able to kind of like test the ground with her root-like tendrily fingers and make sure that the camp is set up in a healthy way. The good food from Galatar, the good music from Birdie. The work passes relatively quickly. Every day, scouting parties head out, covering the lands between the cliffs and the trees. There's a constant shadow overhead from the great many airships that have all pulled very close to the top of the canyon. No one is flying above a certain elevation. And each night, reports are given as to what the scouts have found, how things are progressing, how the fortifications are going, and you guys are kind of clued into the plan moving forward. The idea is, as Traherne and General Soulkeeper lay it out, the airships are going to stay as close as they can to the ground to avoid giving away the position to anything that might be watching from far away. They'll kind of use the the cover of distance to kind of drop low and avoid flying too high and letting people know like, oh well, I can see that ship there, the Pact must be right below them. And they'll stick close to the army to provide air support. As in ore, they expect a bit of air resistance, and so this could make things a little better should it get kind of hairy in the air and people need to do any sort of dangerous maneuvers, or if people fall off, they might fall directly into the canopy and break their fall. So it's a little safer in their minds for a variety of reasons. No airships will be sent far ahead. They'll stay pretty close to the Pact, but Priory Magisters and Order of Whispers scouts will team up using cloaking magics and stuff like that to send some fast-moving scouting parties ahead. But generally, the army is going to follow the course of 3 streams that kind of come down and meet within about a mile of each other. And they will follow those westward into the jungle, as far as they can tell from their scouting, and Galatar can confirm this with what he has seen. These rivers kind of run parallel enough to each other that if someone were to get into trouble in one column, you're never more than about 15 or 20 minutes walking to get to the next one. Even though the bush is pretty thick, the number of soldiers and sharp weapons and siege engines should be able to blaze a trail if it becomes necessary to back somebody up. The third night of building this camp, part of your debriefing, or part of your briefing, rather, Traherne tells you, I was contacted today by Captain Duvala of the Wardens of the Grove. I'm told the Pale Tree has withdrawn from public contact, leaving her avatar in a state of hibernation. Before she withdrew, she told Menda Arias, who maintains the Omphalo's chamber for us, that she had to focus all her energy on defending the dream against the nightmare, as its attacks are growing stronger by the day. My sister Kaith has decided to return to the Grove to assist the Wardens while we are all here.
I will miss her company. I feel like
Nods.
we bonded.
Traherne leans over and puts a hand on Kitri's shoulder and says, Thank you for giving her that advice. Normally, Kaith is a bit too willful to accept such guidance, but I believe you are in the right, and this is a wise choice for her.
You're welcome. I just know that this isn't going to be maybe as quick as a lot of us had hoped, and it's going to be a lot harder than we think, so we really need to take care of ourselves.
We do. And to that end, Galatar, Bertie, thank you very much for your contributions to Camp Morale. I hope we can count on you to continue these practices as we make our way through the jungle.
Absolutely.
I've been hearing nothing but positive reports from the soldiers about your contributions, yours and the rest of your groups. I believe the commanding officers and I have come up with an appropriate name for this camp. As we are establishing it to represent our commitment towards resolving this problem finally, we've chosen to call this Camp Resolve.
I will say, you see Birdie's shoulders just a little bit.
As a
Bertie's
representation
base
of
didn't
our
work.
ironclad resolve, we will not falter, we will not retreat, we will not return home empty-handed. I believe your efforts these last few days and in the brief few days we have left will be a reflection on that resolve. Again, thank you. They continue the briefing, and Almora asks that you follow her column, the center column. There will be vigil present in both. The vigil heavy soldiers make up most of the infantry. Most of the priory, while there are magisters scattered through the ranks, most of the priory numbers are going to be aboard the airships, making sure they stay airborne and providing a lot of magical firepower.
I don't know why I said 3 times, but that's weird.
And there is a great, I would say the majority of soldiers, period, are new conscripts, like new people who have signed up that don't really technically belong to an order, but a lot of them are armored in such a way that they don't bear the official insignia of the Vigil. They wear Pact colors. It's
Order
sort
of
like
the
its
Meat Shield.
own- yeah. Well, the Vigil are the vanguard. They are the frontliners. The Pact infantry are there to back them up and support them, and they've been trained by the Vigils. They are a formidable fighting force. But Almora, in your final briefing on the last evening, just says, It'll take the better part of the day to reach the tree line tomorrow. We'll make camp just out of bowshot of the trees. Following days we move into the jungle. I'd like you all with me. I'll be taking the center of my column. I'll put you a little ways ahead. Not in the vanguard, but close enough to where you can advise the commanding officers should they need to stop and take your advice.
Color palette could use work, but it's just a little, advice.
She ignores that. With that, this brief interlude comes to a close. Let's see, do I have I don't think I have an actual description here. Camp Resolve is finally completed. The Pact leaders have briefed you on the next steps. And the name of Camp Resolve is on the lips of all the soldiers. Your efforts inspiring confidence and enthusiasm in the undertaking of this great effort. You hear a lot of people telling stories about the siege of Or to those who weren't there, but with all of your roles sort of combined here, you're able to intercede in those conversations where you need to, and to stand back when you don't, so that the stories of glory, of optimism, of tragedy that was necessary to lay low the dragon Zaitan now kind of inspire the soldiers towards what is about to happen. Unsure exactly how long it will take. The pack leaders do kind of agree with your assessment. It'll take many days to cross through the rugged jungle, especially because they don't know where exactly they're going. Scouts have gone further now than ever before. Having a couple extra days, there were some really talented Vigil members who have been able to fly out. They came back reporting much the same as what you had discovered in using Ibu Galatar, that the longer you fly, it's all just green. The canopy is so dense, it's almost impossible to see. You'd have to go down on the floor, and in the few places where they found clearings or paths that had been carved by large creatures, they found Mordrem. And so a on-foot scouting seemed less than practical. Yeah, so it takes about 5 days, and then everyone goes to sleep on the last night. Tensions are high. They are going to leave a contingent of soldiers at the fort to defend Camp Resolve, and like a handful of airships will stay behind as well. But yeah, everyone gets a good long rest, plenty of watches posted, so no need to do that yourself. As the first day of this incursion dawns, now is the time for the 6 of you to look at your inventories, look at your spells. Do you have what you need prepared? Are you ready to go into the jungle? Is there any preparation that you need? Preparing your spells can take an hour or more, depending on how your preparation feature works.
I hate when the DM says, "Do you have all your things?"
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like,
make sure you note what you're carrying and what you're not, how much weight you're doing.
I'm gonna check my spells.
Okay.
I can't prepare spells, so doesn't matter.
I saw in the new
Yeah.
one D&D test stuff, they're thinking about making all spellcasters prepared casters, so you can change it every day.
I don't know if I like that or not.
I don't either.
I kind of like the bar. It makes me feel like less bad when it's like, oh, that spell would have been useful. Like, I wish I would have prepared that. I'm like, I couldn't have known. Like, you know, I can change them around my level up, but
I had just
other than
had
that-
too much responsibility as a cleric, having to change it every day. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. What? Anyways.
we're gonna get it.
Yeah, I think I'm good. I spent some time last time going over it. And part of the thing with preparing spells is like sometimes I'm like, because you don't know what you like.
Yeah.
You have absolutely no clue. Like there's certain ones that I just always keep.
Oh, do we want to do a hero's feast, or is that
Oh.
later on?
I thought about that
Since
too,
this is
but
going to be a
Well, I guess
day.
We don't know how long. Yeah,
we don't.
Maybe we wait.
We could always pop back and get something.
I do have it prepared. So
everybody got rope.
So
I'm not going to like change it out. So like it's there when we want it, but I think I only have maybe one.
let me ask this
Only
question
have one
of
gem encrusted bowl.
Alexa and Galatar.
Hmm.
You guys can cast Wish, which lets you cast a spell lower than ninth with no components as an action. Does it say it's any spell? It's not just spells on your list.
Yeah.
So you guys could. The duration of Hero's Feast, I believe, is 24 hours.
I didn't even think about that.
So if you have a slot empty at the end of the day, you can use your 9th level to cast Hero's Feast before you go to sleep.
Oh my gosh, that's just like
Fucking
you're
crazy.
permanently on hero's feast.
Ryan,
Oh
don't
my
tell
gosh.
Doesn't
us.
need the expensive chalice or
Not,
whatever.
not when
Huh.
it's Wish. Wish
It ignores
bypasses
everything.
it.
Crazy.
It is
And it's
Yeah.
instant.
fucking broken.
Well, it's
Yeah.
Wish.
Broke.
Yeah, you just wish it into existence and it's there.
Broke.
So I can do that the first night, but I can't do it any other night after, because then I can't cast Foresight or anything else on myself.
I can, because I've got no planning spells like that.
Because Foresight takes a minute, so if I don't cast that well before combat, I can't use it.
You have an echo on your mic, and I don't know why.
It's me. My headphones died,
Ah,
and now it's coming out of my speakers.
It's all
So I
good.
have 150 feet
oh,
of rope.
that's what it was. I was looking
I
at
think
Paige's screen.
Someone asked about that. So 150 feet of rope.
We're all hang tight then.
And one climbing kit, I think.
Are you saying you're
Did we
keeping
bring
that or
a
getting rid of it?
Oh no, I'm keeping it.
Okay.
Should we bring climbing kits?
I
I have a climbing
one.
kit
I don't know
in-
if there are extras in camp already.
I have listed on my sheet that I have a climbing kit in your bag of holding. I don't know if that's
Okay,
true
that's
or not.
probably it.
Okay. That is my
'Cause I only
climbing
have
kit,
one,
and if we have to
okay.
do some climbing, I'll be making use of it. Thank
I'll
you
add a
very
note.
much.
Birdie.
Climbing.
I also have crab
Funny.
bonds if anyone needs them.
I went ahead and swapped out the Frostbrand Greatsword for the Flame Tongue Longsword. See if we
Okay.
can get some spice going on, Mordremoth.
Yeah, if you guys have magic items you want to swap out your attunements or do anything different, now is the time. You can do it on any rest when you have an hour, but if I'm just saying if there's something that you're thinking, this is the time to prepare that.
I would like to sort of like clean out the dried meat I have in the bag of holding and swap it out with fresher dried meat
By
for
that,
my
she just means
rations.
Kyle just eats it.
Well, yeah.
You
You're
feed
gonna
it to
waste
some of
it?
the
Restock
animals
Stock
that
on my
are waiting,
rations,
and
yeah.
yeah.
I have 8 human rations.
Human flesh rations.
Granola. I have 8
What?
days of granola for someone.
No thanks. I'd rather starve.
Like 16 pounds of granola.
16.
Got the big bag from
And
Trader
Colin's
Joe's.
not gonna eat it. It's
Okay.
in there for other people.
It's like granola with like molasses or something.
It's
like
granola
like a
from
heavy
Sam's Club.
binding. Yeah.
That's the giant.
Feed it to the birds. Whatevs.
Oh, Ryan, can I cast contingency again and change it to be the haste spell during one of our 5 days?
Yeah, if you want.
Okay.
I mean, as long as that meets the rules of contingency.
Yeah, it just has to be 10 days within me casting the spell, and everything else is fine.
What's the trigger?
It'll just.
Because that's important.
Yeah, I like the word triggers on his turn. If you're still okay with that, like the invisible thing, like if as long as that's okay to use a word on his turn.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just say paste on his turn. Or, no.
Like an anime jutsu.
Yeah,
Paste.
yeah. He just yells it really loudly and does some hand signs, and it's great.
Go Galatar haste. Okay. If you guys are ready.
When ready.
I mean, not really,
Right now I'm
but
changing things because I was just go ahead. It'll be fine.
We're gonna do great, guys. Don't even worry about it.
we're not gonna die at all.
Birdie will not die at all.
After a hearty breakfast.
Oh, so I mean, just to
Yeah.
clarify then, sorry. Point of order, we have Hero's Feast from Galatar right now. And then subsequent nights, I will cast Hero's Feast. Just for this journey.
if you got
time.
your 9th level slot.
Yeah, as long as you're okay with that.
Yeah. No, I'm fine.
Also, can I mean, we are facing a dragon, so if I can on that last day open up my demi plane and get out Grimace,
Sure.
bring him along just in case.
Yeah.
Could I make a request before we set out?
Yeah.
I am going to, as a spirit walker, be bear totem. I'm gonna commune with nature,
Huh.
which I
okay.
tried
Using
to
a feature?
Shut up! It's a spell.
Like Like a class feature?
It is a class feature spell. 3 facts of your choice about any of the following subjects as they relate to the area. It's up to 3 miles. I know we're talking about like a big old,
Yep.
you know, a big guy, but I'm curious about celestials, fiends, elementals, undead, influence from other planes of existence, and probably terrains and bodies of water. And just kind of rely on that going forward as we kind of set out into the great beyond.
Okay.
Also, my dad's outside fixing my tail light, so if anybody wants to say anything to Brett Looney, now's the time.
Hi, Brett.
What's up, Brett?
Also, don't forget with Hero's Feast, we get the 2d10 hit point increase. That doesn't happen with the effect, but you have to do it yourself.
For day 1, that is 13 hit points.
Very nice.
So you get to learn 3 facts about any of those things. So what are the 3 facts you would like to learn? And about which of those things? Like if you want to know the location of all the elementals in that area, we can do that. Or the number.
Location of elementals, location of, I don't know, like any big terrain threats. I mean, I don't really know what a metric for influence of other planes of existence would be. Those would be my 3. Also have to find a pair of pliers for my dad.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Please make note. I'll be back.
Yep. Terrain, elementals, influence from other planes of existence. So
Great.
you don't detect any influence from other planes of existence. There doesn't seem to be any sort of tear in the natural world. Although I would say, kind of along a similar vein, you get the sense that the vitality that is present in the greener, richer parts of the land seems to have been drained from the area that you're currently sitting in. You can almost kind of feel that the sort of heartbeat of the world, so to speak, the vital energy of the soil and the air and the water within this area sort of siphoning slowly off to the west. You get a couple of senses of elemental presences. Not particularly strong, but present, all kind of dotted throughout the canyons, or at least the land where the canyons are.
And then for terrain and body of waters, can I specifically request like any clearings, kind of places where?
Well, within 3 miles of where you are, there's
Yeah.
not a lot of tree cover.
Oh, well, no shit. Okay.
Yeah,
That
the
makes sense.
jungle's about 12 miles away. There are copses of trees between you and them, but they're lower than your vantage point, so you can kind of see them pretty easily. You can kind of sense a couple of other streams within range that kind of pour out of the nearby canyon lands and kind of twist and wind their way down towards the jungle. But yeah, nothing particularly interesting stands out beyond that.
Okay. Cool. I'm gonna keep an eye on that spell once we get into the thick of it.
Absolutely, it's a neat spell.
It is a neat spell. Who'd have thought? Level 17, I'll get there.
All right. So, after a hearty breakfast, the Pact army begins its long, slow descent down the scree that forms a very rocky, very loose and unstable slope down from the cliff sides towards the Maguuma Jungle. You see most of the airships drop low, hovering just 100 feet or so above the ground. Occasionally a good-natured shout from one of the deckhands above, waving at those of you down below. A couple of good-natured jokes about the plebs having to hoof it on foot. Usually by a floppy-eared Asura in priory robes. You see that there is a small handful of ships left kind of hovering over the top of the canyon, keeping guard over the fort. Infantry forces surrounding Char siege engines and sturdy supply wagons that are under heavy guard with pack animals pulling them begin this long crawl down from the cliffs. You kind of grouped in with General Almora in the central, kind of the thickest column of the three. And you just begin walking. It's slow. Occasionally you hear soldiers kind of break out in low song, but it's uplifting. There is an optimism here. You know you're going towards danger, and there's some nerves, but there are also plenty of strong, confident hands nearby to slap people on the back, shake them, give them a hearty sort of cheering up as you all proceed towards the tree line. takes about 6 hours, with a brief respite in the middle to have a bite and a drink before you make it to the eaves of the jungle proper. Traveling over rough terrain with a full army is not easy. Marshal Traherne and the others call for camp to be made just outside of what would be bowshot of the trees. And everyone starts to kind of gather up. You can see several hundred yards in either direction. The other columns have come to a stop as well. And as the sun begins to wester and pass behind the far mountains, deep shadows cover all of you. There are campfires, but they are kept deliberately low, ringed with high barriers of stone so that the flames don't peek over the top, providing the bare minimum of light and only the heat necessary to cook appropriate meals. You are welcome to keep a watch this night if you wish. The Pact will be keeping their own, so you are unlikely to be surprised in the center of this military column. But I leave that choice to you.
I do
would
want
set up
to.
for a watch.
Galtar?
Oh, I was going to say I do want to put up the chateau as well. So, and I'll let the leadership know that if they need to, rush them in, if there's an ambush or something, that they can use it as sort of a rally point, and a way for leadership to regroup and stuff like that if they need to.
Okay. Almora kind of gives you a confused head shake. It's like, yeah, okay. Never had something like that before. I'll have to work that into the command. But no, thank you.
You're welcome.
Maybe keep that on the down low. We don't want the other columns getting jealous.
Ah, sure, of course. Thanks for the heads up.
So who is gonna post watch with the army tonight? Kala? Anybody else? All right. Are all of you gonna sleep in the mansion, or are you sleeping outside with the Pact?
I'll sleep outside with the Pact.
Paula would sleep outside.
I'll sleep with the Pact.
Is the mansion up?
That's what Galatar was saying.
Galatar will be sleeping in there if you would like to join.
If
him.
it's there, I'm gonna go.
All right. Darkness falls.
Across the land.
Yep. Everyone has a hearty meal. Every now and then a song starts to break out, and it is quickly kind of quashed as we are near enemy territory, and silence and stealth are going to be paramount moving forward, as much as can be when siege engines are moving through a jungle. Keytree. Lying out under the clear, cool evening sky. It's not cold. It's quite warm and balmy here. But there are few clouds. During the daylight hours, you would have noticed the wisps of steamy moisture kind of evaporating from the jungle and kind of forming their own low cloud banks, but tatters of that sort of drift across the night sky in what is otherwise clear and beautiful starry tapestry. You lie on your back looking at those, thinking of home, thinking of what is to come. You fall asleep feeling... How do you feel?
Probably tired. A little
a
uneasy.
long day.
Little uneasy of just where are they going? What's going to happen? How long is it going to be until they get there? But also comforted that she's with her friends, and this is the thing they set out to do, so I don't know, sort of Yeah, just a mixed bag of emotions, I guess.
Okay. As you fade into a sleep of pleasant dreams, you find yourself walking through the dreamy halls of places you know and love, from the grove, from the verdant expanse just outside, the village of Caer Astoria, where most Sylvari go to find their first home outside of the grove, kind of like a halfway point between being a child and an adult. Warm memories. And at some point, you remember one of the first times you really laid out to sleep under the night sky and really appreciated the stars was just outside the village of Caer Astoria. There was a little pond, a little pool of water, and you've seen this a couple of times in your dreams. You find yourself standing near the edge of it. And as you walk near, there is a familiar stone that just kind of juts out just a little bit, just 2 or 3 feet. Not very steep, but standing on it gives you a good view down into the water, almost like a mirror. And as you catch your reflection, you see that sprouting from your back are 2 beautiful, deep pink with red veins, wings in the shape almost like a butterfly, but made of a fleshy flower petal texture, like rose petals, shaping in a sort of butterfly wing shape. You are able to move them, flap them, bring them into to close together, almost like you're wearing a cloak. They are beautiful, and looking closer, you see a crown of thorny growths protruding from around your head. Looking down at yourself, you find yourself holding what looks like a scepter of finely carved and polished gnarled oak. As you grip it, it thrums with power. As you look back at your reflection, your reflected eyes glow with an eerie green light, the pupils black and slitted like you have seen many times before. And your own reflection speaks with the voice of Mordremoth, as it says, "You could rule them." Do you respond?
Yeah, she'll just, she's like, I mean, I don't think they, whoever this they is, I don't think they necessarily want or need to be ruled, and
All of them.
no, thank you. You know, creepy dream.
The reflection, oddly, appears to kneel down, in effect, sort of getting closer to you, growing a little larger.
Mm-hmm.
It reaches forward and it seems to put its hand flat against the surface of the water. And it says, in your own voice, "Instead of the nightmare, they could have a queen. Not dark, but beautiful and terrible as the dawn. tempestuous as the sea, and stronger than the foundations of the earth. All would love you and despair. Does Kitri respond? It's one of my favorite quotes. I had to do it.
Ugh. I'm quite happy with the friends I've got. Thank you. I don't need to be in charge of anyone. Honestly, I'm just happy being, me.
The hand bursts from the water, grabs you by the throat, and you hear the voice of Mordremoth again as the face pulls close to yours and says, "I will break you." And you are pulled beneath the water. As you splash below the surface, you wake up. And you find the camp about you dark and still. The sounds of people next to you heavily breathing, light snoring. Otherwise, still and quiet. A cold sweat covering you, shiver a bit.
Do I notice any other... I guess it would be hard to tell. If I go outside of the little tent or whatever, are there any other Sylvari awake or waking up right now that we all somehow maybe we all had a dream like this and now we're all awake?
Make a perception check.
$18.
So you notice as you start kind of walking around, trying to shake off this feeling that there are a couple of people up and moving. There are people keeping watch. You see some sentries around the fires. You know that there are sentries kind of posted out around the perimeter of the camp. With an 18, you do catch the faint sound of someone kind of moaning and or like a whimper in their sleep, like they might be having a nightmare, or they might be trying to shout while they're sleeping. You know that sound people make. You don't see any Sylvari that appear to have just woken up and are sort of staggering half asleep, trying to shake it off like you are. But kind of moving closer to one tent, if you want to poke your head in, yeah, you do see that there is a Sylvari, a young Sylvari man. He's wearing what looks like Order of Whispers robes, sort of tucked loosely on a sleeping bag. It's kind of tossed open off him, like he's gotten too hot, and he's sort of twitching a little bit. But he is asleep.
Okay. Yeah, I won't bug him. If that's unless he seems like he's having a really really bad time, but
It seems like you've seen people have unsettling dreams, not even necessarily nightmares, but twitching a little bit and kind of whimpering or moaning the way people do. And the more you listen, you can catch the sound with an 18 perception coming from other tents, but you distinctly catch there's one nearby that seems to be a char, sort of very deep kind of gruff. So you're not sure how much of this is anxiety about tomorrow, about what you're doing.
yeah, no, she'll just leave him, let him sleep.
Okay.
Maybe walk around until she feels tired again herself and goes back to bed.
I would say at some point as you walk around, you find Kala standing guard.
I see you've decided to take watch with the rest.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it'd be good for a couple of us to be out here, be seen, with the rest of the pact.
I guess that's fair.
Mm.
So you see anything?
No, nothing interesting.
Ooh. Ooh. Yep. Do you need anything?
No.
We could have, we needed some water, or I don't know, ale.
I have like 10 water skins.
I totally forgot. Kind of thought, maybe we'd gotten rid of those at this point, but yeah, cool. I'm gonna go back to bed.
All right.
Good night.
Good night.
Right, yeah. Settle back down to sleep. Kala, nothing untoward happens tonight. Every now and then, as you're listening, you see a couple of the soldiers kind of stand up and pay more close attention. You hear like snapping twigs coming from the wood, or the occasional loud hoot or call of some sort of nocturnal animal. It's a little weird because most people in the army aren't from jungle regions. There are a couple Asura keeping watch too, and one's just like, oh no, it's a bush baby. They're very loud, obnoxious little buggers. Nothing to worry about. And I guess I could have changed that to night camp. Should have done that earlier. Shit. Yeah, little sounds of frogs and a couple of nocturnal birds. Not many. It's a little quieter at night than it was. As the sun breaks on the following day, it's still pretty dark as the sun itself hasn't risen over the mountains to the west. But dawn is beginning to light up the sky well enough that you don't need the fires to see any longer. The jungle comes to life. More birds, the calls of monkeys in the distance, some extraordinarily loud as they make their territorial morning call displays. Put that back on simple. Oh no, wait. It's jungle? Yeah. Get some footsteps in the jungle here. Some monkey sounds. The second day of the incursion dawns. Camp is struck after a brief but filling breakfast. The fires are put out as best as possible without creating much smoke. And the airships pull into tight formation over the columns. And the army begins to roll out as you all break through the plain of trees into the dense undergrowth. You are following along the rivers, and here, the creeks and rivers, the things you're following are about 15 feet wide, sometimes 20, because the banks are irregular, and they've got about 5 to 10 feet of space of bank before trees and thick brush kind of pile in and cover any forward progress. As the vigil soldiers make their way in, they are hacking with short swords. The siege engines there are several in the front of the column, bulldozing a path, crushing what they can to widen that path. And some of the scouts move forward, testing the depth of the river. It's never really more than about 5 feet deep. So Asura kind of have a hard time if they want to cross from one side to another, but Norn and Char are able to wade through about chest high, and it's very, very slow. There's almost no current. And yeah, the army of the Pact makes its way into the Maguuma Jungle. I think this would probably be a good place. Does anybody need to take a bio break? Let's take like a 5-minute break and come back.
All right.
All right, we are back live. So, the Pact begins to make its way into the Maguuma. The progress is slow but steady. The crunching and cracking of wood and root and branch as the paths are cleared, the clank, the constant clamor of grinding wheels and clanking armor, the shouts of soldiers to one another coordinating their efforts, even the hum from overhead of airships, pushed as they are by the breeze, the sound of ballista being turned, chains being withdrawn and set out, the calls of the deckhands to one another. This goes on, and it just seems to drag out. An hour goes by. 2 hours. And it feels like days. It is hot. It is steamy humid. There are odd sounds coming from all around you that people don't recognize. Strange creatures, insects, swarms of biting, stinging flies occasionally find their way to you from some little swampy area that lies concealed behind the shrubbery. Another hour passes. The men are getting tired, getting anxious. There's been no activity yet. And as the 4th hour of the journey passes by, you notice, those of you with high passive perceptions, that the sound of wildlife in the forest begins to quiet. At first you stop hearing the calls of larger creatures. Monkeys, apes, even large birds. The calls grow quieter and then cease altogether. You still hear the humming and the buzzing of insects, but eventually the call of frogs dies away. And all that's really left is the sound of the moving stream at your feet, the crunch of your own feet on leaves and branches, and the churning of the Char siege engines, and the sounds of the men all around you. Midday is approaching when suddenly, without warning, the jungle all around you explodes. There is a terrible tremor in the earth that knocks most of you on your ass. You see the whole column ahead of you shift and tumble as the forest floor around you itself is like a wave of earth beneath your feet. You hear a terrible popping, ripping sound as enormous vines, the size of great redwood trees, burst upward out of the ground and shoot skyward. You watch as one of them pierces through the hull of one of your airships. There's an explosion and the ship begins to burn, the sails catching, the ship turning and starting to fall from the sky. There are calls of alarm before you and behind you. Another root covered with thick thorns lashes upwards from the ground. You watch as it twines itself around the hull of another ship and begins to crush it and drag it down towards the ground. You hear shouts of alarm, and from far ahead of you, the sound of Char cannonry firing. You hear a faint as Priory Magisters begin loosing magic. You see little balls of flame and flashes of multicolored light. There are shouts from behind you and the clash of ringing steel as swords are drawn, the impact of hammers and axes into what sounds like thick wooded trunks. It sounds like a camp of lumberjacks going to work. There is suddenly the sound of combat all around you, and then another huge tremor as the earth itself buckles and you are all tossed aside, carried as though a surfer on a wave. into the trees, out of view of your allies. As you tumble ass over tea kettle, unable to withstand the insane force of the ground as it ripples itself beneath your feet, you just catch glimpses of the rest of the column just being scattered like paper dolls either side of you into the jungle. It takes a moment, but you hear the popping of wood and the crackling of the airships overhead as their ballista are fired, the rattling of chains, howls of alarm, and screeches of some sort of airborne creature that you cannot see because now you are beneath the dense canopy of the Maguuma Jungle. When finally you struggle to your feet, you can hear the sound of the stream ahead of you. You are on what looks like a thin game trail. You can hear the sounds of soldiers beyond your sight in the trees, not terribly far, but also the sound of the rushing stream is just ahead of you. You can just make out between a gap in the trees the wide, shimmering expanse of exposed water. But you barely have time to rise to your feet before a burst of sudden motion from either side of you, in what looks like a small clearing to your left and right, coming out of the foliage, are these enormous creatures that you have seen before. These triceratops-looking creatures of vine and thorn, with wicked horns, each ridden by one of those mushroom-headed champions of Mordremoth that you had fought in the cave. Each accompanied by a pair of those thorn wolves, which, since Alex wasn't here, I'll share that picture again.
They're good boys.
A wolfy body with a plant
I hate that.
forms the spine and head, and
They're
those
so fucking cool.
Stranger Things bulb faces peel back to reveal the skeletal face beneath.
Oh my god. Okay.
I would like
I
you
hate
all
that.
to roll initiative, please.
No.
One quick question. Jimmy, what is our hit point increase from your casting of Hero's Feast?
The night before. Yep.
7. Wanka.
Oy, that's not good for
Went from 13 to 7. Thanks, Alexa.
Oy.
You're muted.
You're muted.
It's my first time making food.
It's like crap. The noodles are a little crunchy, but it's fine.
Alexa's like, ew. It's just
so.
wet Cheerios.
I always have to remind
Delish.
myself when I roll bad on initiative, like, no, Alex, you're a healer. That's okay. Like, that's where you want to be.
Wow.
Not you, Alexa, though. You can just help.
I don't roll. Only a few times have I rolled double digits.
Feel
Are
free
your
to
dice
feel bad about
cursed?
that one.
I mean, they're fine otherwise. It's just initiative.
Man, back-to-back
Just
tough rolls.
Initiative.
Do we all roll low initiative? No, there's
No.
You can see to your left and to your right. Each side has one of these creatures. Some of you aren't going to be able to see it on your right because there's a big cluster of trees.
I don't see shit
block
yet.
vision. Some of you are still kind of in the dense brush, and you'll have to move forward to see stuff. Those of you in front, Brina and Kala for certain, looking ahead across the water, you can see this game trail kind of picks up again, and there's another kind of wide clearing, and bursting from the foliage there looked like 50 Mordrem, and they are just rushing at you. These humanoid-looking, it's like almost like nightmarish Sylvari are just hauling towards you. That will bring us to the top of the first round, and it is Kala's turn.
Bonus action, take aim, and I'm gonna shoot the rider over
Okay.
here, the
I
person.
will say the game is still showing paused on my end.
Mm.
It is.
Okay, cool. We're good. It's old Ruby Rider.
29 will hit.
$39 damage.
Yeah, as this creature like emerges from it, and he's holding the reins. He pulls that greatsword out, and as he draws it, your arrow impacts just on the side of his chest, like right in the joint of that exposed arm. You see him like pull back. Ugh. Charge! But it is a heavy hit.
That's the end of my turn, and all attacks on him till the start of the next round have advantage.
I will mark him as though he has fairy fire, so you guys know which one it is. That brings us to Brina.
And Ryan, it's pretty rude of you to put him literally 5 feet out of my range. I love that. I think it's actually cool. Bonus action, I would like to rage. Time to yell. We have such fun. Fuck it. I'll use up this advantage. Sorry, Kala. It could have been so much cooler. But yeah, I'm gonna get closer to this guy and then, you guessed it, baby, throw a javelin at him. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Here we go.
Was
One
threatening
hit.
of javelins.
Oh yeah. 13 damage. Crazy, crazy. Wish it was more, but that's the
Yeah.
deal.
The javelin sails through the air, and he manages to kind of push it aside with his sword, but it rakes against his opposite arm that he's using to hold the reins of this creature with. That does hit. It just
Brina
gives you this glare.
Yeah, Brina just gestures at him. Kitty, 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 kitty. She's gonna try and keep his attention here for the time being.
All right. He gives a quick whistle, and the two petal flower heads of the wolves flanking him peel backwards, their skeletal wolf heads opening up as though to howl, and their flower stamen tongues start lashing the air as they sprint towards you. And they are gonna attempt to do a bite.
Alright.
First one will definitely hit.
Oh,
For
definitely?
24.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh,
10
definitely.
10 piercing
Okay.
divided by 2 for 5 piercing.
There you go.
And I need you to make a strength saving throw.
Oh, man! Oh. Oh.
You're good.
Okay.
Will a 16 hit you?
Yeah.
Okay. This time you only take 4 piercing damage.
Okay. Is that already reduced?
Yeah, that's already reduced.
Thanks.
8 reduced to 4. And go ahead and make another strength save for me.
Why Shem?
Yeah, just 20 sounds fine.
Good thing I'm strong, bitch.
The other one will make its attacks. 9 does not hit. 17 does
I
hit.
didn't even see the other one.
Yeah, I didn't either.
No.
There's one above you, one below you.
Yep.
He was hiding in the bushes.
He does. He, in fact, springs from the bushes. You hear him coming before you see him. But the first attack misses as you kind of gain your footing, as the other one is trying to flank you and grab you by the ankle. This one does manage to hit.
No.
Since you're raging, it's 14 reduced to 7 piercing damage. And I need you to make another strength save.
Don't feel me.
Oh.
Yeah, they keep snapping at your ankles, trying to trip you up and drag you to the ground, but you are able to stand your ground successfully.
Cool.
Another sharp whistle, and from the opposite side, They cannot get around, but they can get two more wolves kind of come running around the tree cover to the right. One is going to attempt to bite Kala. Let me see, do they have... I think they do. Yes, okay. Alright, so this one's trying to bite Kala. 14? 23. I need you to make a... Well, you take 12 piercing damage. And I need you to make a strength save.
Okay.
$17, you're good. The next one is going to attempt to bite Galatar. Will a 22 hit?
It will indeed.
Alright. So you'll take...
Oh, did
I'd
you
like
roll
to
that
take-
with disadvantage as well? From foresight?
No. So you're... Just to refresh my memory, you're casting
Yeah.
Foresight when you wake up in the mornings.
When
That's
we
your 8th
start,
level.
when we leave on our trail, it lasts. Yeah, so when we depart for the day, it lasts for 8 hours. And
Are
all
you
attacks.
using your Arcane Recovery to gain that slot back?
No,
Are you... Okay.
it lasts for 8 hours, and I can't use Arcane Recovery to gain a slot back above 5th. And it's a 9th level spell, so it lasts for 8 hours. But it's why I can't cast Wish.
Hero's Feast, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's why
Okay.
I do the Hero's Feast at night.
Cool. Alright, I didn't realize Arcane Recovery was limited to 5th level and lower.
Yep,
Alright.
it's a pain.
So that was not with disadvantage. With disadvantage, it would be an 18.
So 18 will hit because I have not activated Blade Song yet, but I'm going to throw up a shield
Okay.
to make it miss.
And what does that make your AC?
Currently my AC is 22.
Its second attack hits regardless because it's a critical
Okay.
hit.
Gotcha.
Uh,
Dang, it rolled a critic. It rolled 2 natural 20s on the second attack. Hot damn.
it has advantage. It was
Oh,
a straight roll.
dang, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Okay.
11. Yeah, it's just 21 piercing damage.
Okay. And then I need a strength save.
Strength save. Yeah,
Okay.
it's low. It's DC 13.
Okay. Hopefully I do well. I've got a -1. Oy! Oh, it's a 17. Okay. So 60.
Yeah, you're good. Hey,
For a second there, it was sitting on a 7.
you see that it is trying to snap at your heel,
Uh-huh.
but you are able to kind of like, you're nimble enough. You dance out of the way.
All right.
I used my reaction to move away. It doesn't do opportunity attacks, so.
Gotcha. I thought that's what I saw. That brings it to Keytree's turn.
Okie doke. Keytree is going to. Well. Oh, that's 120 feet. Oh, she ain't gonna move. Cool. She's gonna go ahead and cast at 4th level Call Lightning. And shape of a cylinder is 10 feet tall, 60-foot radius, centered on a point you can see within range directly above you.
What was the radius? 40 foot?
60. So it's 120
It's
foot
like the
diameter.
whole map.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like this.
I was gonna scoot if it wasn't gonna be big enough, but yeah. And that guy's doggy's moved. Okay. I'm gonna, when I cast the spell, you can choose a point and lightning bolt it. So
Mhm.
she would like to lightning bolt this gentleman over here on the right side.
Okay.
And they need to make a dexterity saving throw, and any creature within 5 feet of them also needs to make a dex saving throw.
Yeah, so they both need to make dex saves. The rider saves. Okay. So they both save. Do they take half damage?
They take half damage, and it would be 4d10. So I
Yeah, that's a good thing.
upcast it. So 17. So 8. They both take 8 points of damage. Because they saved, they take half.
What is the second lightning damage? The D10?
Oh, the extra d10 is in case we're outside in stormy
Oh,
conditions.
storm. Right.
And then it adds another d10, but we're not doing, like, it's not storming outside, so it should just be the regular, the first 4.
18. So we'll take 9. Okay. Yeah, this bolt arcs and it hits the ground right next to them. The rider's able to kind of jerk them out sideways just in the nick of time. But you still take the damage. They don't appear to be immune to it. You see them kind of actively flinch away. And he's like reaching for his sword and he shakes his hand like it stung him.
As a bonus action, she'd like to take out her staff and cast Shillelagh on it. Is that how that works? If I cast a regular spell for my action, I can cast a cantrip as
It's
a
the
bonus
other way
action?
around. If you cast any spell as a bonus action, you can only cast a cantrip as your action.
Okay, I always get that messed up.
It's hard to
So
track.
Never mind that. She's not going to Shillelagh anything,
Okay.
and she's just gonna stay. She's standing there. She's not moving. So that's my turn.
All right. That brings it to the riders. This one is going to position himself down here. I think. Huh. He is going to make 1. He make 2. Alright. He does not get advantage. He is going to reach for a short bow kind of slung at his side, and he's going to try to attack Galatar. I believe that will hit. Your shield is still viable, so what is your
Yep.
AC?
So currently AC is 22, and their attacks still have disadvantage.
Ah, I forgot to roll a disadvantage. Thank you. That will definitely not hit. First one would have been a 25. Second one would have been a 25, but goes to 9 instead with disadvantage. So you see two arrows come whistling by you as you're dancing out of the way of these wolves. Kala has given you room to move, having retreated to get a better angle. So you have much more room to kind of dodge around and just whoosh, whoosh, dodge the arrows as they pass by you. You can feel the ground kind of shaking with the heaviness of this large creature that's being ridden kind of approaching you. But it stops outside of range to do you any harm. The other one took quite a bit more damage from Kala than anyone else, so he is going to run up to her. He's going to take a couple of swings with his great sword. That will hit. And he has more than half of his hit points. So that is a heavy hit as you back up Kala against these trees and bushes to try to get some cover. The sword comes whistling through the air and it deals 23 slashing damage.
Ooh.
As it brings it
Cancelled.
back up, you find it. You hear it hit the bush behind you. What's your AC?
17.
17. It rolled an 18.
Oh.
And so on the second hit, that's 20 more slashing damage. As this guy just leans down and comes in with a big underhanded swing with this greatsword. Let's see, that is him and the charger. As the creature comes to a stop, it takes its long thorn growths on its head and tries to gore you with them. But it misses, does not strike. That Oh wow, okay. Alright, that brings it to Bertie's turn.
Okay. So let me ask a mechanical question here. These guys at the far edge of the map, you said there's like 50 or so folks.
From what you can see, there's just a sea of bodies, and they are running out of the trees towards you.
Okay. For the mechanics of slow, because I'm assuming they're like hordes.
Yeah, it's like a swarm.
Would slow work on one of them as like, because I get up to around 6 creatures of my choice. So like if you're treating the swarm as a creature, or I don't know how that would work.
I treat the swarm as a creature generally, but each one is composed of many individuals. I would say I would let you target a swarm.
That's good. No, that's not gonna cut it for here, I don't think. Okay, we'll do something a little different then. Okay, slight change of plan. And 30 feet of me. How is 30 feet of me? Okay, I'm gonna do a little movement first. We're gonna start there. I'm gonna pop up here. Yeah, I like that one. Oh, it's gonna be a nice little AoE. Okay. So I'll get there first.
Okay.
And I'll go ahead and pop off a destructive wave. As Birdie kind of like runs up on this path, slides into one knee, power cord. He watches this like wave of purple glitter just like goes out from him, and that is everybody within 30 feet of my choice. So just should be all the baddies around me. Yeah. So, they must make a Constitution saving throw.
All right. Lots of saves. So what's the save?
It is a 19 Constitution save.
They fail. 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 I've got 14, 15, 16, 4, 13, 6. 20. So the rider behind Kala saves.
Does his animal?
Natural 20, yes it does.
Oh, these guys suck. I hate them. Okay.
Yeah, but everybody else fails, so you roll the damage. That's
okay. So it's 11 thunder damage and 18 radiant damage.
the 29 damage.
29 total.
For the
11
fail.
thunder. Yeah, on a fail. So 14 half on a success, and everybody who failed is also knocked prone.
Shit.
So keep that in mind for you melee fighters. Advantage on your attack if they're prone.
Yeah, it's Galatar's turn to get ready to come up.
Yes.
All right. 14. All right. Yeah. So the Mordremoth wolves take the full force of this right in the face, and you watch as like the petals that had concealed their faces and peeled backwards just wither and dry up and chip off and disappear. It's like they've just been burned clean by this necrotic energy. The cavalier, the mounted rider behind you, or to your right, and its mount are fully affected by it. It kind of like stops them in their tracks, and they take a moment. You watch as they sort of like brace up against the pain and then push through it. They take the hit, but they're still looking pretty good. And the one behind Kala seems to get some kind of coverage just from being behind her. Like it's harder to make the magic hit it. It does take it, but it doesn't hurt it quite as bad.
Okay. And then for my bonus action, I will pop off a Mantle of Inspiration. Everybody around me, all my allies, get 14 temp HP. And you can immediately use your reaction to move up to your speed without provoking attacks of opportunity. So if anybody wants to move somewhere to get into position or something, please do that now. As Birdie sits in that slide, the burst of energy goes out, and he goes, "Scat!"
Did you say 14 temp HP?
14 temp HP. Yeah.
Scatter!
And that...
You're within 20 feet of him.
Yeah, I am going to move...
If I'm within 20 feet of him, 25.
You are within 20 feet of him.
Man?
I think the effect is 30.
Oh, it's
30?
60 feet.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
you're
party.
good.
Later.
Yeah, that I can see within
Bye.
60 feet. I can see everybody. And then I am going to use the rest of my movement to kind of fall back a little bit here. Yeah, I think that's about right. I'm trying to decide. I don't want to go too far away. I'm just gonna move back a little bit. Okay, that's me. Oh, we just lost Chandler and Mary.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there's
Oh,
Chandler.
there's Chandler. Okay.
Well, now Mary's gone.
Yeah, you guys all right?
Internet go out for a sec.
Yeah, sorry, our internet just cut out all of a sudden.
All good.
Mhm.
Good to
Weird.
know Milwaukee is still there.
But that is my turn.
We're in Minneapolis, pal.
Oh, that's right, Minneapolis. Shit, I always get those names.
Two
confused.
M's of
You can't,
you know,
confuse
cold-
Wisconsin cities and
somewhere near
Minnesota
the
cities
Great
up
Lake.
here.
You know,
Respectfully, what's the difference?
Whoa,
I mean,
don't
honestly,
say that
a
up
lot
here.
of a
They're
lot of
basically the
people here
same.
would take a lot of issue with that.
I
Yeah.
Good
believe
thing
it.
I'm not in Milwaukee.
It's
The
Neither are
rivalry
we.
between Wisconsin and Minnesota is much akin to the Ohio and West Virginia.
I'd argue it's Ohio and Michigan before it's Ohio and West Virginia.
but that's all I
Alright.
got.
All right, that brings it to Galatar.
Okay. So at the beginning of his turn, he will yell haste as he moves a little bit quicker. And then I want to go ahead and bonus action Blade Song. And with my first action, I believe it's within 120 feet. I think I counted it out. To hit the hordes up here. Let me get the measuring tool again so I can double check.
Yeah, they actually count as like individual.
Yeah, it's
creatures that
120 feet to like right here.
I already tried that one.
So I want to throw a fireball right in the middle of that horde.
Oh,
Alrighty.
Fireball's 150 feet. I'm a fool. Oh well, it still works.
no problemo.
Okay.
But I'll use my
So let me
first action in which I can cast a spell to throw a fireball there. So
The 20-foot radius?
it's a 20-foot radial sphere, and I believe the way I'm saying it, there are 3 hordes that I can see. So I think if I aim right there, it'll for sure get all 3 of these hordes. Because I can only see from there to there.
Yeah, there's a little fireball.
Sweet.
So yeah, I couldn't see where you were clicking, but I see your mouse.
Oh.
Where did you want to center it?
I wanted to center it in like the middle of this kind of middle horde here that I can see.
Oh wait, no, I can't see your mouse. I see Chris
Oh.
and Alex.
Okay, let me try refreshing.
I don't see Chandler's mouse
Materia.
either.
Oh,
Hold
it's frozen in the middle of the river for me. That's where it is.
Oh, that's probably where it was when it cut out. Hold on. Okay, I think it just reloaded.
Man, good
Let's
use of
try.
fireballs,
Yes,
though.
I can see
I'll
it
say
moving
it.
now.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I wanted to center it on the middle of this column of guys because
Okay.
it just needs to be 150 foot.
These
radius.
guys.
Those guys. So that is a dexterity saving throw of dex 19 and 86 fire damage.
Alright.
Or maybe
Does
six.
cover at least half, so dexterity. Let me get. Hang on just a second. I need to pull
Okay.
something in from a different thing. Oh well, shit. I'm gonna have to change that. All right. Sorry.
Well, you're fine.
Dexterity saving throw. Save Durgs. "13, 12, 3.
Okay. 13, 12, and 3.
All
So those all fail. Okay. Ooh, lots of 6s and then a 1 and a 2. So 6, 6, 6, 6, so 24, 29, 33, 34, 36 points of fire damage.
Nice. 36. All right.
So after I throw that fireball, I'm then going to. Are either of these more hurt than the other? I know they both just took the destructive weight, but I can't remember if either took additional hits out of these 2 wolves.
Hang on just a second. I mistyped and I gave one 36 hit points.
They just
that's
absorb
all it
fire.
had left. I was like, ah.
Oh no.
So all of the wolves look pretty fucked up.
Okay. So
Yeah,
look about
they're
equal.
all down to about 25% of a
Okay.
small hit point pool anyway.
Gotcha. Sorry, I'm just double checking on one thing with haste really quick.
Big time.
Okay, so haste is so the second action can only be a 1 weapon attack. My curiosity was how that works with Tasha's Cauldron of Everything and the cantrip in place of an action. I don't know how any of that works together. But so would that just be 1 weapon attack, no cantrip, in place of the weapon attack like with Tasha's, or no?
I'm confused.
So with
So you
Tasha's, you can
cast a
replace one of
spell.
your attack action like attacks with a cantrip in place of it. Which
When
is
you take
how
the attack action on your turn.
yeah.
Right.
And I'm taking the attack action on my turn, but it's the attack action granted by haste.
That I think can only be a melee attack
Okay.
because the spell like specific trumps general.
Okay, gotcha. So in that case, it is a 14 plus a bunch to hit, like a 27 to hit.
That hits. Yeah.
Okay. So that'll just be 1d. Oh, I forgot to put my blades on bonuses. Okay, there we go. So that'll be an additional 1d8 plus 12. And I'll go with the wolf that is slightly above me.
Okay.
And that is 6 plus 12 for 18 points of. It's
Now
not piercing, it's slashing damage, yeah.
Yeah, you bring that sword down and just cleaves that skull apart. There's like a shiver down that viney spine, and the wolf just collapses. It's dead.
Okay. And then I'm going to actually I'm gonna try and block this guy off, so I'm gonna move. Oh, if it'll let me move. Maybe not. I'm trying to move where the
Go
wolf
here?
I just killed was. Yeah.
Gotcha.
No, it's not moving me. Oh, I lost my connection to the server. That's why.
I moved you there.
Okay, thanks. I'm reloading. But that is it for my turn.
All right. Let's see. So at this point, there is a howl, just a continuous roar from the trees to the north. You hear the scrabbling of the brush as many Mordrem, 10, 20, 25,
Many much problem.
30, just start swarming their ways out of trees. It's a ridiculous amount of people. And you can hear more movement than you can see, because there are trees like immediately on the other side of the shore blocking your vision. But it's like a small army is roaring its way toward you. They are going to take their action to dash. Let's see. 5, 10. Some of them are hampered by the difficult terrain themselves. 20, 25, 30. 30. They most of them can make the river and begin to kind of feed their way across it slowly. It is difficult terrain. 10, 15, 20, 30, 15, 20, 25, it's difficult terrain. Yeah. And they are just clamoring for blood. That brings it to Alexa.
Oh. Yes, I see these other hordes come into sight. My plan changes a little. Because the immediate threat seems handled by my teammates. But giant hordes seem like not fun. I'm going to try. Because I can't see on the right. So I'm going to take 1, 2, 3. There we go. Okay, can I get this? I don't think this actually is mathematically possible. I need to check where they're. Because I think I can get them, can't I? I guess you already played this game with Fireball.
Is a 20 foot?
Yes.
Yeah, that will cover half of that square. You can get this one here, and it will affect the one to the left of it.
Yeah, but I see I can't really get the other one.
Just far enough, yeah.
Yeah.
Difficult terrain oddly working to their advantage.
Right, slowed them down enough to get split up.
Yep.
Well, I will focus on the closer two groups.
Fair enough. What do they have to make?
They will see a ginormous eye underneath them, as I will upcast my eternal unblinking. They need to make intelligence saving rolls.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's
It's
why
not gonna go well.
we'll hurt them. We'll hurt them a lot.
I shit you not. One of them rolled a -2. and a 1. Yeah.
Oh wait, actually, as I'm reading the spell, I think there's no reason to upcast it, actually. So I'm not gonna upcast it. It doesn't do more damage.
Fair enough.
Okay.
So they take 21 psychic damage.
It was a little low on the damage, but they are also. They have a minus d6 from all their attack rolls and ability checks.
Okay.
And they can make an intelligence save to end that effect. At the end of their turns.
Okay. So they this massive like vanguard line of Mordrem soldiers starts howling out of the trees. There's an explosion of fire, and several of them just drop dead. It's like you see like a body fly up into the air, crispy fried. The front lines just kind of like wither in the heat, but they just run over the bodies and keep coming and keep coming. Alexa casts her spell, and several more just kind of like stop, shaking and like seizing in the middle of the or on the shores of the river, fall forward to their faces, and the rest just keep coming, unfazed by the fate of their allies.
I used the last 5 feet of my movement to go cower in front of Birdie.
You cower in front of me.
Uh-huh. Not really like cowering, but I'm standing and pretty it out. Yeah.
Yeah, protect me, Alexa. Don't let them get to me.
Okay. Let's see. What is this? At the top of the next round, before Kala's turn. I do it. This is yeah, I think. Yeah. Bertie and Keytree. You hear commotion behind you. And as you just spare a glance over your shoulder, you see a young Sylvari woman in Vigil plate mail come crashing through the trees. She kind of staggers to a stop in the middle of the path. She looks back and forth between each of you, tears the helmet from her face, throws it to the ground, and as she looks at you, her eyes glow green, the pupils black slitted, and with a strange voice, Bertie, that I don't think you've ever heard, she calls out, "This world will be mine." And she starts sprinting towards you, weapon drawn.
That's not fair.
No, it's not yours.
She
the
just
hell are
has
you?
a spear.
Okay, well.
But
Bound
Bertie,
to
she
get-
lunges towards you with a stab, and that will hit. So you take 6 piercing damage.
How rude.
It just manages to kind of like prick you in your side as you're turning. Most of your clothing kind of catches the blow, but it tears the silk of your bodice or your blouse.
Thank
Your
you.
silk shirt.
My silk lounge shirt. This is silk.
And there is just this wild-eyed bloodlust in her glowing green eyes. And that brings it to Kala's turn.
Apparently coming back to Birdie was a bad idea.
I am gonna pull up my hood, go invisible, bonus action disengage, and just move over here.
Okay, I said Bertie sees Kala disappears like, it's fine, I'll handle it.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh Christ.
So you bonus action disengage and move.
Yeah, it's an action to do the hood to go invisible.
Oh, right. Sorry, my mind is in 2 different places.
Bonus action to disengage and then my movement. That's everything I can do.
I apply the visual effect to your token. You are invisible now.
All right.
I love Foundry. So that brings it to Brina.
Oh man. Okay, is this the guy that's gonna get Bertie?
Yes.
Oh man.
I mean, he's just here to party. It's okay.
I know, but I love my friend Bertie, and what if he dies?
I would say as you turn, you see this happen. You see the thrust. You see Birdie kind of get the pinprick. You hear the howling of an army behind you, and now you all hear this groaning
my
from
God.
overhead as an airship is being pulled over top of you off towards one side. Big, massive vine, like the size of not a skyscraper, but like a huge vine that's like wrapped around it and it's crunching it. You hear like the splintering of the wood and the trail of smoke that it's leaving.
Rita just shouts, hang in there, Bertie, I'll be there soon! And I'm gonna attack the dog in front of me. I'll use my bonus action to light up this flame tongue longsword baby.
Yeah.
Yeehaw! And I'm gonna reckless attack because what's the point of being a barbarian if you're not gonna fuck around?
You're not at an advantage.
That hits.
And am wielding two-handed because I don't gotta. Oh, he's dead as shit.
Yeah. No,
Eat
just like
it.
you just like run over, and as soon as you spark that sword, it sort of quails back a little bit. You bring it down, and just the pressure of the blow flattens the creature down to the floor, and it does not rise.
Brittany says, I told you I'm coming! And I'm gonna get the next guy. Also reckless with my second attack. Did that work?
It'll probably come through in a second, but
Right, not yet.
Alright, I think I clicked it twice, so.
Click it about 3 more times.
Yeah, that's what I think. My dad used to get so mad at me on the family desktop computer because I would be like, click, 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 click. And I still do. Let's try it again.
Did it roll in?
Oh, there they are.
Yeah.
Don't worry. All 3 of them.
Yeah, I mean it hits.
Oh, why
Oh
did it
shit,
work?
all of them? Alright, well, the first one was 18.
I'm in the chat.
Yeah. Also, like, and
Oh, damn,
another
sorry.
follow-up blow. Like you smash the one, run over. I'm still coming. Another blow down, and it just cracks this wolf. You feel the planty spinal column just kind of sever, and the
Ugh.
blossomy head just goes rolling off into the brush.
Don't worry, Bertie! I've got you! And I'm gonna square up with fucking this guy.
All right.
That guy is not
Advantaged anymore?
advantaged anymore. Yeah.
Thank you. At this point, this Mordrem Wolf will attempt to hit Galatar with disadvantage. That does not hit. Mine's being slow too, and I'm rolling it in Foundry. That does not hit either. That's an 8. Ugh. So it can't do fuck anything. Which brings it to Keytree's turn.
Okay. First off, Keytree would like to run over and try to, if I could move my character. There it goes. She's gonna run in front of the mage person, whoever they are, the possessed being, the possessed
Oh,
one.
the soldier.
Yeah, she's gonna run in front of the soldier and try to get in between her and Birdie and be like, no, stop! And she's also going to look backwards and she's gonna target this. If I can click, there it goes, the
yep.
horde, straight back with her lightning. So they need to make a dex save.
Is it 18? I think your save's a 19.
It's
isn't
a
it?
19, so they don't
So they
save.
fail. 4d10.
And they're gonna take all
36.
36.
Shit. I want to hover over and see what that. 2 10s and 2 8s.
Oh.
Nice.
Christ.
Fucking nice. 36. Wow. Okay. That's as strong as the fireball was. It was like 30, 38 or
Mm.
something like that.
I don't ever get
I know.
damage rolls like that. Druids will do like
So
cool,
these guys-
cool shit, and then they just end up being like little like oh, you
Yeah.
got hit with the little drop of hail.
So this cluster of Mordrem is starting to kind of scramble its way into the water. And as a couple of them hit that, get about chest deep, the lightning bolt crashes into the stream among them, amplified by the water's connection. And you watch several of them just sort of seize up and sizzle and crackle. And there's this sheen of electrical sparks over the top of the water. And several fall beneath the surface, never to rise again.
Dun, dun, dun.
Ooh, and that, I can change the way they look. So there's fewer of them. Yeah.
Okay.
They're looking. That horde is looking pretty hurt.
Yeah, that's gonna be your turn. That's it. That's all she got.
Alrighty. That brings it to the mounted riders. Let's see. We'll do guy on the right first. Five, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. What's his movement speed?
Remember, he was prone, so he has to.
Ah, son of a bitch. Yeah.
Nice try.
Ball sack. Wait, the game's there.
Not so fast.
I didn't-
The
I
Lord
didn't-
has
yeah,
he's read your plans.
I apologize. I forgot to turn that status marker on. So yeah, half the movement to stand.
He's the first one to move.
I will say, having fallen prone, the rider would have. Let me double check if he has to do a thing. Yeah. Just to make a quick deck save to see if he also fell prone. He did, yeah, they both fell flat on their asses. So I will say he does not remount. He is also no longer 5 feet in the air because he is not mounted. So he stands up. He has 15 feet left. Yeah, not enough. Son of a bitch. I will say he is going to go 5, 10, 15, take some cover, and he is going to take the dodge action. So I will make him blurry so that I remember he has that on him. The mount stands up and then has a little bit of movement left, but not much. So yeah, 5, 10, 15, 20. He kind of like, so the mount's pretty big, but it has difficult terrain in the trees there. It's kind of like shoulder its way through and bend some stuff out of its way as it tries to shift into position. It is going to take a deep breath, and
Oh,
you
no,
watch
it's
as
not.
these thorny, viney growths that comprise its frame kind of part under the chest, like under where its neck kind of connects to its large muscular chest. They part open, and you can see like mushroom-like growths kind of protruding out this dim yellow glow. And when it exhales, it doesn't exhale through its mouth. It exhales a burst of spores from its chest outward. And I need Galatar, Alexa, Bertie, and Kitri
Be our
to
joy.
make a Constitution saving throw. It's
Oh.
fairly low. It's a
Oh,
very
that's
low.
a good. I thought you were gonna say wisdom.
Yeah.
I was like,
I was ready for
Uh,
Dex.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's a 19 plus. It's a 30.
Okay. Let's see. Of course, I didn't edit the description, so I have to actually go open the thing. Bertie, you are restrained. You can repeat
Yeah.
the throw at the end of each of your turns. Sorry, at the end of your next turn. As this creature breathes out these spores, you see everyone sort of like batting the air, and you turn, and you're focusing on the guard, and it takes you just a moment longer to realize that these spores are enveloping you, and as you
Right.
breathe,
Right.
you inhale them, and you are just not able to fight off this effect. You feel the spores like take root in your body, and your movements begin to slow as you slowly begin to transform.
Oh,
You are restrained, and at the end of your next turn, you'll repeat the Constitution save. Yes.
Okay.
plantification.
This guy is going to turn around, and he is going to. Oh, well, no, he's.
Don't worry, Alex. If Birdie becomes a plant, we'll put him in a really gorgeous pot.
Yeah,
The
super
Tree
ornate.
probably has one already picked out for you.
Birdie in his bedazzled plant pot.
You'll obviously be a money tree.
Yeah.
Instead of money, he just drops fine fabrics.
Orchid, beautiful, but
Rena.
useless.
Rena, you notice the Mordremoth mounted on this mount, kind of towering over you, raises its great sword, and as it does so, it takes a deep breath as some of these spores kind of waft over, and it almost catches some of them out of the air, and you watch some of its wounds close up a little.
Ah, stinky, boo, boo.
And it is going to attempt to strike you. First one will
Pretty
definitely
actually
hit.
be a saffron plant.
Terrible.
That would
Valuable,
be 20
temperamental.
slashing, half to 10.
Let's be real, he'll be sage.
Phage plant.
Oh, what?
Will a 19 hit?
Yeah, absolutely.
Rolled shit on damage, so that is 13 slashing, 12 reduced to 6.
Okay. Nice.
And its mount.
Oh, he gets to fight?
Oh yes.
I thought he was just like a horse. Just kind of stand there. And be a horse. But no.
No, it just sort of like tries to reach forward with its head and gore you with its thorny horns.
Horny
But that's a 10. You're easily able to kind of like put your hand out and hold its head in place for a moment as you gather yourself.
Cool.
And that brings it to Bertie's turn.
Don't move, Bertie!
So,
It is a struggle
yes.
to move.
these spores have taken root.
Mm,
I am currently restrained,
yes.
but it's not like a physical restraint.
It's a restraint from the inside. You are restrained.
Inside, Ryan.
The call is coming from within inside the birdie.
It's not a magical effect.
Yeah, it's not something you see that you can attack.
Right.
It is a
Well, I was looking at.
Sensation
I'm
inside
assuming
it.
it's like I'm about to turn to a plant or something. But I was looking at freedom of movement. But that will not apply here. Okay, cool. So this is just like an effect. Okay. Don't like just effects. Let's see here. Yeah, I got nothing for that. Okay. I tell you what I will do. This flower guy,
Mhm.
if he could make an intelligence saving throw, please.
Okay. Fail.
As a psychic lance shoots out from the tip of Birdie's lute, he is going to take
31.
31
Got some juicy
psychic
hits in today.
damage, and he is incapacitated until the start of my next turn.
Ooh. Okay.
I forget what incapacitated means, but
It can't take actions or reactions.
perfect.
Yeah.
Seems pretty good.
Now, at the end of your turn,
Yeah.
make your Constitution saving throw.
I'm not gonna save. I got a +2 to con. I've been rolling piss poor all night.
Oh, fart.
You release that magic, and as you do so, Keetra, you watch as Birdie's outstretched hands freeze in midair. Your skin transforms into a thick bark-like material, and effectively you are petrified.
Yeah, I saw that one coming, but I got no nothing for that. So
Birdie now looks like a growing tree statue of himself. Little flowery and mushroom growths.
that's
kind
what
of
I figured. I was
bursting
like, I
from-
might as well make this one count. because-
Oh, Bertie, this isn't a good look for you. Hold on a second. Hold on.
Alright, that brings it to Galatar's turn.
That wouldn't have mattered. Petrified.
Woodrified.
Yeah. Okay. So as these spores are coming towards Galatar, part of the reason they don't hit him is that electricity kind of starts to crackle from his body. As he raises his hand, and in a similar way that we've seen Codicus Beetlestone do before, he points his hand towards this fort here in the middle and releases a beam of lightning. And as he casts chain lightning, he will make it hit this center column and then branch out to each of these two beside it.
Okay, I see.
And it is a dexterity saving throw, I believe. Yeah, dex 19.
So they all make the same save?
They all make a dex 19 save, yeah.
Ooh, the middle one rolled a 19, an 18
Ooh,
plus 1.
nice.
Dexterity. Second rolled a... Yeah, rolled an 18, which is 17 plus 1. Third one... failed.
I'm sorry, Ryan. This is a 6th level spell. Do you mind rolling lower?
They've been
She
rolling
might
pretty
help
low.
me
I'm
out.
impressed by those two in a row.
All right.
So the one on the right failed. The other two succeeded.
Wait,
I assume they still
it's
take
a
half
DC
damage.
19, so the one that rolled an 18 still failed. That
Oh,
rolled
sorry,
17
so-
plus 1.
So the first one saved and the other two fail.
Yeah. All right, so that's 10d8. So I'll roll that. Okay. 20, 27, 32. And then that was, how many of those? 8. So I need to... Ooh, could have been better. What is it? 44 total.
Nice.
Not ideal. So 44 for the two on the sides and 22 for the one in the middle.
Dope. The one on the right. Yeah, so this strikes. I can go ahead and do this for a couple. Wait for that one. So you blast it in and among, I guess. Yeah, like in and among the trees. You can just see a couple of these creatures kind of emerging from that cluster of trees in the center there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's enough to target them. And the lightning you watch, it sort of dances between the group members of that swarm before arcing out to others nearby. The one on the right, the kind of centrally aligned one coming over the river right now, like 2 or 3 more just drop into the water and don't rise again. It's looking really hurt.
This one, is it still full? Like,
It is technically like 1 or 2 of them fell. I only have like so many different states of the token,
oh,
so I changed the token at like certain kind of percentages.
gotcha. I was just asking because I thought this one had gotten hit by the fireball last time too, so I was trying to get the state of it from both the lightning strike
Not
and
that
the
one.
fire. This one did?
Mm-mm. No, that was the first hit that one took.
Oh, all three should have been hit by the fireball. I thought
There's
because
more
it
than
was right in
three.
the center. Huh? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm figuring that out too. There's a lot
Yeah.
more than three.
Yeah.
So one of the columns that I saw like up here before is not the one right here.
I hit it with mine as well. It's over here.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And
That one's
deducing
no
this
longer my
because you
honest
know how your spells work, you realize, oh shit, that's a fresh one. There are more people.
I should have just pulled
Yeah.
out that meteor swarm scroll. Jesus, these things have a lot of hit points. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and just get rid of this wolf. So I'm gonna use my haste action attack to try and strike down this wolf right to the south of me. Bad roll on the first one, bunch better on the second one. So it's a 23 to hit.
Definitely.
Okay.
And it's dead.
Oh.
Yeah. Because you're going to do more than like 8 damage.
Yeah, with 17 points of slashing damage.
Yeah. Yeah, with that extra hit from haste, man, you just cleave it down and it is gone.
Okay, and then I'm gonna move one back to there, and I will end my turn.
With a fierce economy of motion, you guys watch as with one outstretched hand, this torrent of lightning just hurls from Galatar across the river and starts wreaking havoc. And as he turns around, there's just a quick, almost samurai-like slash of his sword as he ends this final Mordrem wolf. That is going to bring it to... There is now a crackling and a crunching sound as more trees begin to part along the far northern extremity as you see another one of the large floating flowery creatures with the central eye sort of emerge, floating its rooty like tendrils floating above the ground. It's about 20 feet in the air, followed on either side by a pair of those big hulking Mordrem husks, these towering tree-like creatures, and a pair of vine-toothed creatures. They looks very much like Fowlin, except they don't have a humanoid part jutting out of their head. It's just the creature.
God damn. Oh no. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's see. At this point, and 20, 30,
Oh,
30, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
No.
Oh, I see it now.
Oh,
it's
wow.
big. It's
this is
really
an
big.
unpleasant
I
experience.
see it now, and I don't like it. Rena doesn't see it though. She's still happy.
30,
Good for her.
30.
Don't worry, guys. I'm a tree.
Birdie will save us. He speaks their language.
I'm Birdie, and I speak for the trees.
Look out, the Lorax is here. I want to watch that movie again.
Yeah, the hordes now kind of mix and mingle as they start to cross the river. Some of them make their way across but are using their actions to dash, and you can hear the scrabbling of the claws getting closer and closer. Brina, you hear some of them in the trees to the north of you, like now moving much closer.
No, I
This
don't.
brings it to
I don't
Alexa's
wanna hear
turn.
him.
This group and this group, I believe, need to make intelligence saving throws to end their effect.
Okay.
They're minus d6.
16?
No.
They both fail.
Then they still have a minus d6 to their ability checks and attack rolls. Because that'll be probably be relevant soon.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna use the height differential to say -6, so I hopefully will remember that. Okay.
And yeah. I feel like I'm in the hot potato hot seat in the middle of all this shit. And Birdie just turned to a fucking tree behind me. So I briefly just kind of like touch him, and I'm like, fucking, you're like a rose. As I get a little splinter from him.
Real cute.
And I'll just hope if maybe Kichi can fix you, and I will kind of get away from old stabby guy there. That's what I wanted to see was the other hordes. Okay.
Sounds of combat. I'm adding distant behind the trees. You can just hear the Pact is engaging with creatures. Okay.
Let's see.
20-foot radius. That gets the majority of the upper one, the majority of the lower one, and the majority of the lower right one. I don't know.
Yeah. Yes. I'm thinking. I'm assuming. Can I tell if there's a group here in the woods?
I
Is
said
there?
You couldn't tell that.
Okay,
You hear that
okay.
there are creatures there, but you couldn't really identify where.
All right, then I will just stick with what I can see. That's
Okay.
heat of the moment, heat of the battle. But we're switching it up. This time we are going to cast a spell that I can actually upcast and do some more damage with. And they need to make dexterity saving throws this time.
Okay.
As I pull out my eyeball in my gauntlet, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger until it finally explodes all over them.
Nope. 16 is the highest, so they all fail, I think.
They all take 38 acid damage up front, and then they will take 14 acid damage at the end of their next turns.
Alright, let me do some housekeeping here. Delete these. This is the acid attack.
Yes.
So yeah, the few that remained in the first group to reach the water that had been hit by fireball and a lightning bolt and then another lightning spell. The last few kind of clamber up to the shore and start howling and just wild-eyed as they reach towards you. And when this acid washes over them, the few that remain just dissolve into a puddle of muck on the ground of this trail.
Way to go, Alexa.
1 out of 5.
It's 20%, baby.
There's another group that's bursting their way through the trees, and as you see them, you kind of like shift that spell over to target them, and about half of them just sort of fizzle away or start screaming as the flesh starts to sear and dissolve, and they kind of drop to their knees and don't move. Another group, you can just kind of see heads and shoulders kind of making their way through the water, kind of duck into the water. They still take damage, but the group as a whole is still looking pretty good because it's the first attack they've taken. Yeah.
Then I'm just going to back up.
Easy hit.
I'll actually
Okay.
sneak my way back there.
At the top of the round, this airship that is sort of slowly being pulled across the sky, it was only about 100 feet off the ground to start with. It's now significantly closer, and as it's being pulled left to right, you watch it kind of disappear over the tops of the trees, and you can see there are a couple of rope ladders, and the anchor has even been dropped. And you watch as an Order of Whispers agent, sort of like gleaming golden pauldrons with a black and red leather overcoat, grabs onto the chain and just starts to shimmy their way down. They stop at the anchor, which is about 20 feet off the ground, do a quick backflip, and land 3-point landing on the ground. They stop for a second, looking up, and I'll say they land kind of here in the midst of people. They look up and they grab their head, and their eyes are clenched, teeth gritted, and you see this is a young male Sylvari. So finally, they open, and you see their eyes now. A moment before were fine, now glowing green, wax-slitted pupils. And you hear
Golly,
this
man.
this voice that says, "Destroy all who oppose him." And the vigil soldier, the female Sylvari beside Birdie, says in Mordremoth's voice, "Kill them or cripple them, then bring them to me." And they are going to attempt to attack. One of them's gonna, the Order of Whispers is gonna use its little scimitar and try to clip Brina. 20 will hit, but it's 4 piercing reduced to 2 because you're raging. The other will take a swing at Kitri. 13 does not hit. You watch as it, like, it's kind of wild, and you can see it's almost like jerking in its motions, like it's not quite sure how to use the spear. And that brings it to Kala's turn.
I am gonna shoot the Triceratops. First arrow at the far one, second arrow at the closer one.
Okay. Oh yeah, I forget you're a level 17 rogue. You do 2 attacks now.
Oh!
Okay.
Saved me.
The first one does hit.
All right. 44 damage.
Okay.
And this second one will be
A lot.
96 damage.
No shit.
That
You
works,
are
right?
lying.
Twice in a turn?
Twice now, so
Yep.
long as it's not the same creature.
Jesus Christ. How much total?
96, if that calculation's right. I think it is. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the far
That's
dinosaur,
fucking hilarious.
as it exhales those spores that had gotten Birdie, it's now like pulling those viney sinews back together, lowering its head. Your arrow finds its way straight between the thorny horn-like growths, penetrating its skull. You see it, like, it doesn't drop it, but it sticks in there, and there's this bellow, very bestial sound, but it is clearly in pain. It's a nasty heavy hit. You turn invisibly, and as this other creature is currently brandishing its horns, trying to gore Brina stretches out a hand and just sort of like palms the skull between the horns to deflect that blow. And as she has it momentarily distracted, you let fly with your arrow, and you watch as it passes into one eye and out the other before just vanishing into the trees on the opposite side, and that beast falls to the ground. I'm gonna move that, and then he is incapacitated, so I'm gonna say he does not have a dex save, and he just falls on his ass.
I'm gonna move just a little.
Okay. So the creature kind of collapses into a heap, and the rider's kind of on it and sort of falls off to the side as its head swimming, and you see its hands kind of flailing for purchase as it tries to stand up, but it is currently incapacitated. That's where you're going?
Yep.
Okay.
That's the end of my turn.
Brina, you're up.
Set
Petrie's on
spike,
deck.
shorty. Let's fucking go.
That was fucking awesome.
Yeah, that was insane. I'm gonna clobber this guy with your blessing. I'm gonna.
Yeah, you have
reckless
advantage because he is
attack.
prone.
Ooh, not gonna reckless attack, but I am gonna hit him.
Yeah, you are. This is 25.
Yeah, I'm still doing two-handed. Get wrecked. How's he doing?
You bring this down as he's kind of flailing. Your sword catches his greatsword and drives it down, and the blade of his own sword kind of digs into him. But the sword itself prevents it from killing him. It is a heavy hit, but he is still alive and sort of like eyes swimming and trying to scrabble to his feet.
Well, I'll do it again and see if I can actually kill. Ooh.
Oh hell yes!
Critical hit, 32.
Later, skater.
Whisk
52.
his dick off.
52 plus 18?
70.
Crash that sword like into him,
Fuck.
and as you rear back with
Period.
your flaming longsword, you watch as like he unsticks his own sword from his chest with a and he grabs onto the side of the harness of his mount. And he starts to pull himself up, and just at that moment, where his eyes would be these weird mushroom growths, you can almost see the clarity of understanding as you drive that sword just straight through his face, and there's just this brief singe and a shower of embers as parts of those mushroomy fungal bits are kind of burned away, and he is gone.
Yikes. Sorry, man.
Sorry, bro.
This, we've talked about it before, but the brutal critical dice automatically roll 10s for the weapon damage dice. It's just rolling the damage dice, so I can roll that as 3d10 as opposed to just straight 30 if you would prefer. I don't know where the calculus gets silly there, but
We'll go with it
okay.
for the moment, because that was awesome.
Well, that is true. It was cool as fuck. I stand by that. Okay, cool. I'll turn to face this guy, but I don't think Brina wants to hit him. I don't know if she understands the severity of maybe the corruption and is a little nervous as a result, but that'll be my turn for the time being.
Yeah, so it's sorry, I'm just clarifying. Brutal critical, you get an extra weapon die for determining the damage for a critical.
I thought it was just
3 dice at level 17. So it's when you roll the damage for a critical, you add it. We don't roll extra dice. We just maximize the dice we have. So that's why it's doing it.
yeah.
We'll keep it.
Okay.
Yeah, it just makes them
Like,
hit like trains.
It makes it easier to do math. Yeah, and like when you get a crit, it's gonna fucking matter. So
I was gonna do it solely for the purpose of not having to do math good. Woohoo! D&D, baby.
Yeah.
Right on.
Wizards can cast Chain Lightning and Disintegrate at this level. Why not give the
Yeah.
Barbarian a juicy crit? Rogues can sneak attack their fucking criticals.
Rogue sneak attack
Yeah.
was
Twice.
Crazy. That was crazy.
People talk about
Almost
martial
screamed.
caster disparity. It's because they're not using cool rules.
Damn straight. Learn your
Alright.
features, I say. Level 17, still not having learned my features. Anyway.
Yeah, after this, you gonna check the ground for us?
Yeah, maybe. Ask me again
As
in like
you-
3 sessions.
As you turn around, like having run this guy through his head, jerk your sword free, and as you turn around, this guard, this Order of Whispers scout in full like officer regalia, young Sylvari man is just looking at you with absolute hate, and you can see now it's not just the glowing eyes. You've known Kitri for a long time, and there are Sylvari that live around you in Lion's Arch. The Sylvari you know are, for the most part, like a kind of a delicate complexion and sort of a gentle physicality. The growths and the coloration, the things that make them Sylvari tend to have like smooth lines and patterns, and it's a more gentle approach to someone who is so close to living plant-like creatures. Even as you are like turning to look at this creature, you see like along the ridge lines of their cheekbones, thorn-like protrusions are starting to grow from under the skin, along the brow ridge, and even like small horn-like thorns are starting to protrude from the temples. Its nails are growing claw-like. The physicality of this creature is changing.
Okay.
And with that, we go to Kitri.
Alright, she would like to rummage around in her bag and find some of the diamond dust that she keeps on hand for exactly such a purpose. And she's going to use her. I think it's the necklace of Furbies that does this.
Do you have to? I don't think you have to have the components for that.
I don't have to have the components. Well,
Yeah, I think when you cast it from the necklace, you can cast it from the necklace, and it takes the place of the components.
because the other thing I wasn't sure of. It says each bead contains a spell you can cast from it as a bonus action.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so you don't
And
need the components when you're casting
I don't
it
need the
from a magic
components, and I
item.
can cast Greater Restoration on Birdie as a bonus action.
Yep.
Well, fuck yeah.
Now, if you do that, you're
Wow.
casting a spell. You're casting it as a bonus action. So on your action, you can cast a cantrip if you want.
Can I not use the lightning, even though that's already cast?
Casting a
No, 'cause
spell.
that's
there,
a
you're
that's a
using it.
bonus action though, is it not? Or is it a full
Action.
It's
action?
an action.
It's a
You can
bonus.
absolutely do that.
I thought it was a bonus to call it down
It
again.
might be
Hell
an
yeah,
action.
Petrie. Let's go.
Oh, is she
I
on your
think
action?
it's-
I was looking at that too.
Yeah, if it's an action, you can absolutely, because it's just an action you take while you're concentrating. It's not
Yeah.
casting anything.
Well,
It
never
just
mind, yeah.
says, on each of your
I totally
turns
thought it was
until the
the other
spell ends, you can use your action.
Your action.
Oh,
so it's a
shit.
full action. So yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I am
So
wrong.
I will love to greater restoration Birdie, just
Yeah.
reach out, be like, no, 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 and like put my hands, like cup my hands around his face and be like, no, 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 come back, you can't be stuck this way.
For a hot
Um,
second, Birdie, everything goes black. And then all of a sudden, everything around you has changed. There was a sound of an airship crashing nearby and chaos all around, but you are once again back. Kitri standing beside you, her hands on your face.
Oh yeah.
Hi, Petrie.
Oh,
I saw
sorry,
you
sorry,
outside.
they're a little sweaty.
There's nothing.
Okay,
There's
All right.
nothing there.
and then she's going to turn and she will cast she'll call
Use
the
the,
lightning
yeah.
down on the horde in the back again.
Okay, yeah. They make dex save. They fail, so they'll take full damage. Yeah, give it a hot second, because it's gonna have to catch up. There you go.
It says 20.
Nice. They take full.
That's
That
pretty
is-
sweet.
That is enough to change their visual.
20 zappy damage.
So again, these guys kind of stuck halfway crossing this river. The lightning slams into the water and is kind of amplified by it, and you watch as 2 or 3 of them just disappear beneath the water and do not rise. Very nice.
Yeah, and if she can, she'll turn to that Sylvari that's standing right next to them. And even though she knows they're possessed, she'll just say "What are you doing?" And that's her turn. That will be Kitri's turn.
This guy has just enough. It's no longer blurry. One of these cavaliers that has been knocked from his mount comes running around the trees, running around his mount. Only just able to get into range with Kalatar. He's going to attempt to swing his disadvantage. 14 does not hit. This might hit. What's your AC now?
Currently with haste, it's 24.
Okay, no, that does not hit. Do you have Blade Song up?
Mm-hmm. Blade Song is +5, and then haste is +2.
I just want to change your token because you have Blade Song up.
Ah.
So yeah, 19 does not hit. So he comes kind of lumbering around the corner at you. He's a little dazed, but he looks pretty fresh. And just 2 swings massively, and you can feel the momentum and the force behind this blow, but you are able to duck out of the way artfully. His mount, on the other hand, is going to charge forward and attempt. I'll tell you what. Fuck it. Not going to try to flank. He's a dumb animal. He is going to try to gore you.
Fucking Triceratops didn't know how to play.
Looking random animal. Stupid little pea brain.
17 does not hit. All right, that brings it to Bertie.
Okay, and these guys across the river haven't gone yet?
They go before me.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
after you and Galatar.
Okay. Already looks like. Let's see. That's not an uninteresting idea to me. I tell you what I'll do. I'll move through. First things first. I'm gonna use. Gonna go ahead and bonus action. Assume my unbreakable majesty as now no longer in tree form. Birdie pulls the silk ribbon out of his hair and the locks fall down. And there's like a gust of wind kind of through the woods as he assumes his majestic majesty. He will then. I'm gonna move through key tree space, but still in range of our Silvari person, who I have no words for. And I'm going to draw my. I'm going to use my flamethrower at these two guys in a line in front of me.
Okay.
Oh, baby.
So yeah, I got two in a line here. So that is what we're gonna do. And well, shit. Hold on. That's a shit. Easy deck save, but I gotta try it. I'm just gonna unload like 5 charges. Yeah.
Okay. So
let's do 6. What the hell? Yeah, they need to make a deck save.
the rider passes, but the mount fails with a nat 1.
Perfect. Okay. So he is covered in burning tar. And at the start of his turn, he will take some damage.
Okay.
But that
the guy
is
hears you coming. Here's the brush buck between you catch a flame and is able to dodge out of the way. His mount, unfortunately, big slow beast that he is.
That's my turn.
All right, Galatar.
Okay. Is the rider also looking rough? I know his mount has taken quite a bit of damage and is currently a light.
He's pretty good.
He's pretty good. Okay. In that case, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take one swing at the rider first with the haste action. That's a nat 20 on the second one. So that'll be
Roll it into 20s.
yeah, and then a 1 on the regular damage dice. That's only 9 plus 12, so it's only 21 points of damage.
Okay.
Stupid.
Respectable hit against him.
Stupid Ryan.
In the face of everyone else's crits.
I rolled a 1 on the damage die, Ryan. Stupid. All right. Then for my actual action, that's not what I want to do. Yeah. All right. I am going to form several motes of light around, or several motes of light form around Galatar's head. And as he does so, he'll send one of them out towards which one of these looks more hurt? This one's the closest. So I'll send a mote of light out towards this group of enemies to see how many I can like throw it through.
Okay.
And that is going to be a, what's my spell attack left? Okay, so it's only 19 to hit.
That hits.
Okay. And then that is 4d12 damage. And that is a total of 15, 17, 28 points of radiant damage.
28.
28. Yep.
Right. Yeah, you watch a couple of them fall. Like the star kind of streaks out and passes through one, just like punches a hole in and hits the one behind it. It starts to burn and falls down, and there's like this little glowing, smoking pile. The rest of them clamber over those bodies, just ignoring them.
Okay, and this probably should have been a question I asked before I did anything. But the creatures up here that just appeared, before, they haven't done anything since they appeared, right? They're just there so far, like they
When
just
you
came
saw
into
them,
view.
they are emerging from the tree line.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Cool. All right.
Well,
That's
I
all
say
for me.
hi. They're just like waving.
Yeah. Oh, actually, let me. I am gonna dip down one closer to Key Tree. Okay, that's it for me.
All right. Speaking of devil, on their turns, we'll move a little closer. That's what I thought. As make his way out here.
Great. Great.
The flowery petal one, still 20 feet in the air, just sort of like floating, begins to make its way slowly towards the river. Not in any particular hurry, it would seem. You can hear the stomping and the crunching of the big, towering, tree-like critters. This one's sideways so I can differentiate them. And then sort of like following underneath the floating petal creature are these stalking, almost reptilian-looking creatures that bear a resemblance to Fowlin, but again have no Sylvari body sticking out of their heads. They all kind of close in. You can see these stalking creatures sort of like take up a position, raising their heads and scanning around, almost like they're keeping an eye on things. And it is other folks' turn. There he.
There's a lot more in that group than I thought.
Yeah. There's a couple of them.
There's 2 more groups too, I think.
Oh God. Yeah, I just saw them as well.
Sorry, I think there's 4 hordes total.
Still?
Yes.
Oh my days.
I believe there are 4. There were 5, and we've taken 1 out.
I keep forgetting about the big scary guys back there, and it's nice on the bottom part of the map. I'm just gonna hang out over here. Fuck me.
Stay on this half of the river. Don't go on the other half of the river or stream or whatever. Just pretend the battle's only this half, because the other half is bad.
Still doing okay though.
So that a couple of them had to use their action to dash to get across the river or out of the trees. One of them does manage to get close enough to Brina that they can attempt their multi-attack action. For the first time,
Oh wow.
oh shit, I didn't actually put
Oh, I just noticed I have a little majestic glow around me. I was like, what is that?
Yeah. It's my
Wow.
bless
Hold up.
effect, but
Yeah, that's
so that I
perfect.
remember you have it.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, they can't do that part. That's good to know. They can't actually do that. Say Does a 16 hit, Brina?
Oh yeah. Sure
Okay.
does.
I guess 2 of them are within range. So
Your
the
15 AC.
the group to your right here,
Mhm.
first couple of creatures reach you and start scrabbling wildly with their thorny arms and claws. 16 hits, so you would take 12 damage reduced to 6 piercing. And they make a second attack, which is only a 13, which will not hit. And then the second group, again, just reaching you. They kind of pull up alongside of this Order of Whispers agent, and you watch as a couple of them scrabble up next to them, kind of look at them and give it a good sniff and ignore it and go to swipe at you. 13 does not hit. 8 does not hit.
Hey.
They are not able to really like get a good purchase. There's still like plenty of them coming in from the trees behind, and the ones that are up there, you're able to sort of deflect with your sword play. No one else is near enough, so that is their turn, and I believe one group gets to make an int save.
Yes, the minus 6 feet. They also take 14 acid damage, as well as this group.
Right. 14 acid damage?
14.
14. I had an acid status marker, and it got removed. I will need to add that back. And they fail. This is 11 intelligence save, so they are still fucked up. All right. I believe that is all of their turns. So that'll bring it to Alexa.
Okay, quick world building question. Do black holes exist in this world?
I mean, in a sense, yeah.
Okay,
Fantasy black holes.
so then we got to extrapolate. For the purposes of wish, if I were to wish for a black hole, could I effectively cast the spell Dark Star?
I was going to say, there is a Dunamancy spell that will do
Yes, that is what I'm shooting for.
this. Is that a 9th level spell?
It is an 8th.
Okay. Let me see. A sphere centered on the point, a radius up to 40 feet. The area within filled with magical darkness and crushing force for the duration of 1 minute with concentration. Creature with dark vision can't see through its magical darkness. Non-magical light can't illuminate it. No sound can be created within or pass through. Creature or object entirely is immune to thunder damage. Odd. Oh, because of sound, I guess.
That's
And
why there's no sound. It can't travel through the gravity.
creatures are deafened. Casting spells with verbal components is impossible. Any creature that enters the spell's area for the first time or starts its turn there. Con save, 8d10 force damage, half on a save. A creature reduced to 0 is disintegrated. Everything it's wearing and carrying a pile of dust. It is an 8th level spell, and that is within the purview of Wish. So yes.
Then I wish for a black hole right there. I already drew it out.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I will say
Seeing them, yeah, I just kind of see them all coming out. There's still big hordes coming from my left all of a sudden, and just...
Yeah.
Oh, I really wish they would slow down. I wish for a big black hole.
I think will this do it? I
No
know it's
Heroes
a little,
Feast tonight.
a little weird, but
That was
I
crazy.
don't really like that one. I know there's one that works for this.
We are at war.
Protoplasm effect? That'll work.
That
see
looks
what
pretty
that
good.
one- Yeah. Shit. Alright, yeah. So yeah, dope. They'll start their turn there and then they'll have to make
Yes.
What,
Yes.
your DC's 19?
21.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
21. What is? I actually already forgot what the save was.
Con save.
Con.
I've got it up on my screen here.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Is that your turn?
Yeah, you know what? Since this was wish and concentrating, I'll just stay put because it just kind of it's all the new magic. So
Is the thing that's doing the intelligence save on the groups, is that a concentration spell?
no.
Okay, it's just an ongoing effect.
Yeah, because yes. I'll double
Weird.
check, but I don't believe it is.
Yeah. So at the top of round 4, there is another crash through the underbrush nearby as you hear like the sounds of battle getting closer in one direction from the southwest. A pair of bushes shakes wildly in parts, and there is what looks like another vigil soldier kind of burst forward. And this is another Sylvari. This is another young woman in vigil garb, much like the one standing adjacent to her. You watch she kind of staggers into the field, her spear drawn. Oh God! There. Oh sister, thank goodness! And she puts a hand on her sister's shoulder, but then turns around with this glare. And you say, "Oh God, not you too! Pale Mother, give me strength!" And she's going to try to attack her sister.
Oh,
Okay. We don't have to put them
Aw,
all in
man.
internment camps.
somebody with some sense.
But the attack is a 5. You watch as she visibly struggles to bring herself to strike a sibling. And as the other creature sort of like parries the blow and snarls back, you hear this newcomer just say, "Come back to us, sister. You cannot let him take control of you." The other one, on their turn and engage, and you hear them say, "You dare challenge me? I am the world. I am all." And they are going to try to hit her. And that is a dirty 20, so that will hit. It is a hefty blow. It kind of like digs underneath the breastplate and finds purchase. She pulls it out. There's a brief stream of blood, and you can see it kind of starting to stain the front of her black and silver armor. She cries and kind of falls back. Ah! And she kind of looks around now for the first time, kind of seeing the rest of you. They're all around us! The second one that came down, the Order of Whispers, now standing in front of Rena, is going to attempt to attack. Ooh, critical hit.
Oh, come on, man.
For 10, reduced to 5 piercing damage. It is just
Okay.
wielding a scimitar.
Makes me feel better.
And that brings it to Kala.
Yeah, Kala yells loudly, "Leave the ones you don't want for me. I'll take care of it." And I'm gonna shoot the guy in front of Brina.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 24 will hit.
Oh, on cleanup duty here.
37.
The Agent of Whispers?
Yeah.
Okay.
A merciful death, at least.
Yeah, I know, it catches her with the spear and it pulls it back. And as Brina kind of moves back out of the way, not sure what to expect from this former ally, there is a brief opening and your arrow finds purchase, sticks directly into the chest, and you watch, and it turns to you, and there's just fury in its eyes, even as it falls to the ground and dies.
Is this guy the one behind Brina dead? That rider, I thought he was dead, but I still see him there.
He is dead. He is not visible on my screen.
Okay.
Oh, I see him
Um,
too.
I'm gonna move a little bit and shoot the other, the vigil there.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Do you have 30 hits? You get sneak attack on that?
Yes, I get, if it's
It
a different
doesn't matter.
target, I get sneak attack. Yeah, 42.
Yeah. It just sort of it's focused on the other Sylvari, and again, like, you just catch it right through the head. The arrow disappears into the brush, and it just sort of keels over silently.
But that's the end of my turn.
All right. That brings it to Brina, now being closed in on 3 sides by hordes of Mordrem.
Well. Here we are again. I'm gonna throw myself into this little horde here from a aesthetic standpoint. Practically, I'm gonna stand right where I am.
I will say these do function as swarms, so you guys, it's difficult terrain, but you can pass into and through their spaces.
Yeah, but I'm afraid of them.
I'm just saying, mechanically, if someone needs to.
All right, I can make that happen. But yeah, I'm gonna reckless attack to the one on my right.
That'll hit.
30. 24.
Yeah. A heavy hit. And this is, ooh, I can change their token now. Yeah, so you go through and, like, with one swing, 2 of them are, like, approaching you, clawed arms out. You just hack the arms off of one, and as it passes through those appendages, you catch right into the chest of the next one and just take both of them down to the ground. A couple more kicking, but not many in that group.
I am going to... Yeah, fuck it. I'll just hit them one more time and then see if they die. And then we'll figure it out. 17.
17 will hit.
16.
16. Same group?
Yes.
Right. Yeah, I don't have a way to change your token to show only like 2 left, but
Damn.
yeah, two more of them go down as you are swinging through. There's just a couple left.
Okay, I'll stay where I am right now.
All right.
This sucks. Party.
That brings it to Kitri.
Kitri would like to, if she could, she'd like to call lightning real quick. Oh, please.
Yep, I got it.
Okay.
Between the groups.
If I strike it there, yeah, if it's
It'll hit
anything
both.
within 5 feet, it would hit both. Okay. I'd like to do that then, please.
Alrighty. Dirks. First group fails. Both groups fail. Hard. 5 and a 1.
That's 14 points.
Okay.
And ooh, sorry. Okay, we're all good. That will be her turn.
Alright. Another upraised hand from Kitri, and a lightning bolt comes crashing down from this storm cloud that has begun to swirl overhead. It crashes down between 2 of these mobs, and a couple of them just sort of explode away from each other, just kind of tossed like ragdolls into the trees nearby. The group furthest to the west is the least hurt, I think. The group next to Brina, pretty hurt. To the rider, who is going to attempt to move around. He'll stay where he is. He's going to make 2 great sword attacks at Galtar at disadvantage. Ooh, natural 1. And a 13. No can do. Two big heavy swings and they impact in the ground, sending chips of stone up from the floor. But no dice. The mount at this point, I believe, takes fire damage.
Yes, it does. I will roll that.
Whew, 34.
34 fire damage. Yeah, as it is coated with flaming tar.
It stamps its feet furiously and falls to the ground and tries to roll around to tamp that out, but it is unable to do so quickly enough, and it dies.
Gotta
As
love
much as
when that flamethrower comes
the
in.
viney growths go all cinder colored and crackle and kind of collapse in on itself as it crumbles to the ground.
Bernie just yells, "Where?" I'm gonna loop back over.
Your mic cut out so bad when you shouted. You exceeded the tolerance of your mic.
Dinosaur tonight was the gist, but
All right. That will bring it to Galatar.
Wait, was that wasn't
Oh.
Birdie's turn?
Yeah,
that
I
was
say,
just
wait
the
a second,
effect on
yeah.
the
No, sorry, you're right.
Triceratops.
Yeah, so that
Or
brings it
whatever
to
it is.
Birdie's turn.
Thank
Because
you,
that's the end
thank
of the
you.
other guy's turn. Yep.
It's a good guy. How's our boy looking in front of Galatar here?
Also, is this one taking a? Is this guy still alive?
He's not there. I don't know why he's showing up for you guys.
I refreshed my page and he disappeared.
I'm about to
okay.
refresh as well.
The guy standing next to Galatar still looks okay.
Don't look okay.
He has not taken a lot of damage.
Hmm.
He's hurt, like he's visibly injured, but he's not nearly on death's door. Still swinging that greatsword with vigor.
Okay, I'm gonna move through Heatree space. That's what? 15, 20, 25, 30. I think that gets me where I need to be. Yeah, that should get me where I want to go. I'll say I can't see Kala, which is unfortunate. Those people look all right though. Yeah, from here, I'll go ahead and lay out another destructive wave.
Okay.
Yeah, so that should be it's 30-foot range, so I think it catches everybody.
Where are you centering it?
It has to be centered on me.
Ah.
Will that catch this group? I mean, it catches the corner of it.
So, technically, if it's a 30-foot radius from you, yeah, let me redraw that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Creatures within 30 feet of you
Yes.
is this. Yeah, that's, well, so here's the thing. So because these are kind of like single creatures, it won't affect this group over here, but it would affect this group up top by Brina and the other one directly by Brina. Both.
All right. Well, here's what we'll do then. I'll go ahead and burn a mantle of inspiration. So everybody but Kala gets 14 temp HP. And
Are you not giving it to Kala because she's not in range?
I'm not
You
giving
can't
it
see
to
her.
Kala
I'm
because I can't see her.
invisible.
Okay, well I was gonna say I haven't taken a single hit, so if you could
I
see
still
her.
have my temp hit points too.
Yeah, we all
Alright.
do, I think.
It's just that I can't
Brina.
see.
Don't roll
Brina
like
doesn't-
Sorry.
Galatar doesn't? Question mark
Did
maybe.
you say 14?
And I never got 14.
Galatar still has all his, but it might not be uploading correctly.
Okay, that's fine.
You
I
could
was
probably
just
give him
trying
to
to
that
be
vigil
considerate.
person.
Oh, yeah,
If
give him
you
to the
can
vigil
cover that
person.
many
Okay,
people.
I'll give them to the vigil person. They get 14 temp HP, and
Right.
so and that would go away from Alexa. Alexa's fine, right?
Yes,
And
I'm
you can
fine.
Immediately use your react. Karina, you did not just leave me standing in front of all these hordes. Are you kidding me? I do you a favor,
I forgot
and
to
you
do
run
that!
away.
Wait!
You the
wait,
vandal?
Galatar, come back! We were liking the bit. No, fine. I love being.
Sorry for what
Like-
I need to do. I need to be within 30
I'm like,
feet of that
Brina,
horse. to the
you
left.
got this. And Brina turns tail, and all the enemies are running towards me now. Christ above.
I
So
like to think
will-
like Galatar and Brina though like hit hands like tag in
Yeah.
and out. You know,
I
as
think
we're running
Galatar
by.
and Brina swap.
I will use my reaction.
Think
So
they
yeah,
dap
the
up.
people who get it can immediately use your reaction to move up to your speed without provoking attack of opportunity. I will
Yeah.
use my reaction to move a little bit closer. Now, at that position, I should still be able to get everybody, and I should be able to take on that horde as
That
well
is
now.
the majority of that group.
Okay.
Yes.
So those three hordes, every enemy within the hordes and the special boy,
Oh yeah.
they all have to make
You do get him,
Constitution
yeah.
saving throws. Yeah.
Con fail.
19.
Con. It's a 3, a 14, 17, and the rider. Oops, that's dexterity. What am I doing? Constitution. He's even proficient in it, and that's a 10.
Not gonna do it.
They all fail.
Heck yeah.
This is gonna be
So
brutal.
that's gonna be
Oh,
17 thunder damage, 19 radiant damage to all of them, and they are all knocked prone.
Somebody add that for me. What's the total?
35,
35.
35.
No,
36. Yeah, sorry.
36.
Two odds.
Alright.
So 36 damage total. They are all knocked prone as Birdie again like kind of hits this cord, and this wave of glittering pink energy goes out from him, and he uses his mantle of inspiration. He just goes, "Get 'em, boys."
Go.
And that will be that. Some people used their reactions. Some people got some temp HP. Movement was taken. That is a turn well spent from the bard's perspective.
Yeah, delete that little token. Alright. One of the groups is completely blown away, just disintegrated in the.
I like to think when
trail.
they're destroyed, yeah, so they're all prone, including our rider boy. Don't forget him,
yes,
because then
thank
I'll
you.
get him. But I like to imagine they just like fade away into glitter in like a when the wave comes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That last group, there are several, well, and even among the others, there are several individuals who, sort of like, put their arms in front of their face to try to lessen the force of that blow, and they just are exploded backwards, disintegrating into a shower of, we'll say, dark-colored glitter. It's like flecks of glitter
African
with
glitter.
like half
Yeah.
silver, half obsidian. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love
little, yeah. It's a glowing green accent, perhaps. Yeah, let me take that effect off. There's a lot of effects going on.
I know.
It's an epic battle.
And yeah, so on Alexa's previous turn, you guys watched as this enormous black dome just appeared and now is blocking all vision and sound from the north. This will bring it to Galatar's turn, as Birdie says that, moves sideways, and it just like obliterates a good number of enemies.
Okay. Sorry, 1 second. Ford just reloaded. There we go. Okay. So on Galatar's turn, running over, he's gonna start to sheath the sword, and then as he unsheathes it, he's going to go ahead and teleport like 30 feet towards the group on the far left as as I cast Steel Wind Strike.
Ah.
So I'm gonna go here first. Try and take out a bunch of these guys in the front.
So it's the group to the left first?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go counterclockwise if that's okay. So it'll start with the group to the left, then I'll do these guys, then I'll do this guy, and then there was the one person that's like down here that I saw. Is that person still bad or
no,
they're good?
the bad people are all dead down.
Okay. I couldn't remember if the last one had been killed. Okay. So then, yeah, I'm going to do those 3 counterclockwise.
Okay.
So for the first one, that is plus 11, so 24 to hit.
That'll hit.
Okay. And that is 60, 10. So 13, 21, 30, 37, 41 points of force damage to the first group.
Okay.
To the second group, which I guess is right there, so I won't even bother teleporting. I'll attack again. That's a 27 to hit, or 27 to hit's the higher.
Their AC is like 12.
Ah, okay. I don't think I can actually miss that other unless I roll an at one, so I'll keep that in mind. Okay. So then that one is 7, 16, 18, 21, 25 points of force damage. Ugh. Rolled low on that.
That's enough.
Ooh.
They were looking real rough.
All right, I'll take it. And then finally,
They're
and
all
to
knocked down on
make-
the ground, so it's like you appear, just do like a spin move and slash the last couple of them to ribbons.
Yeah, I was thinking like in my head that he just kind of bamfs into the middle of these groups and then just kind of like does the like Sauron strike in Lord of the Rings where he like sends groups of people flying at a time.
Yeah.
All right, and then
This is
for
big time
Brina's
force
happiness,
damage.
yeah, I'll appear behind this guy and attack so that if he lives, she can have advantage.
You have advantage because he's prone.
Oh, perfect. I double advantage. All right, that is 26
right,
to
you have
hit.
advantage anyway. Yeah, that'll hit.
All right, let's see. 9, 12, 22, 30, 35, 37 points of force damage to that gentleman.
Okay. He's looking really hurt.
I'm going to go ahead and hit him with my haste attack.
Okay.
It's an 18 plus whatever. So 18 plus 13, 31 to hit.
Definitely.
And that'll be 16 points of slashing damage to that guy.
Yeah, so you apparate next to him, bring their sword down, and there's this field of force that kind of precedes the weapon when you do the spell, as you well know, and you just hammer him like into the ground. Like the ground around him cracks and presses inward like he's been hurled from the sky, and you hear like the structure of him, because they don't really have bones. You hear it crunch, and as he sort of gasps for breath, you bring it down, and a final strike, and he is dead.
Sorry, Brina.
All in the day's work, baby.
Sorry. And then I'll shoot a beam of light right past Brina's head, right back over to this group over here, as I fire one of my radiant motes at them with my bonus action. And that'll be 17 to hit.
That'll hit, yeah.
All right. And that is 9, 11.
If that's a ranged attack, make it a disadvantage. You probably still hit anyway, but they are prone.
Oh, they're prone. Okay.
Yeah, that's a weird
Shoot.
thing. But
All right. Do you just want me to do a straight reroll? Because I rolled with advantage, and I don't remember what the 2 separate ones were.
well, was it not a natural one? Because if you can hit,
No, it wasn't a natural one. It's a plus 11 to hit.
what's your spell to hit?
Plus 11 now.
Yeah, so with a 1,
A
you can
2.
hit, so yeah, you're fine.
Yeah. Okay, which is perfect because I think one of them was like a 4 or 5, but I'm not sure. So okay.
But
In
still,
that case, it's the it was 9, 12, 14, and then 26 points of
hey,
radiant damage.
you're really good with like just 1 over what you need.
Damn.
All
Just
right, that
enough,
final
like as they-
12 on the last die was nice.
As they try to kind of stagger to their feet, the last few that
Okay.
you didn't get when you brushed their friends with force into the trees, that moat just passes through them all and just crispy fried, fall down. There's a bunch of burnt twiggy shapes that look kind of humanoid now.
All right. Then with the last of my movement, I will take it all to move down here to just check on this person and see if they're okay. Kind of guard them in case anybody else comes towards them.
Okay. Alright, so on the Thrasher's turn, it has to make a con save, starting its turn in the black hole. That is a 15, so it is going to take 8d10 force damage if you want to roll that.
Oh, a little under half.
It will back the fuck up. Some of its uses action to dash. This big boy, the big tree, the Mordremoth husk, starts its turn in it and has to make a Constitution save. As a 21.
That does save. That's exactly what he needed. So I guess he takes
Half of.
wow, 17.
Go ahead and roll it again. We'll just
Okay.
roll it for each one that fails, or each one that has to roll. 45. So
22.
Worked out really well. The math was nice.
That was a little better.
The other, well, he is gonna fucking move.
It's rough terrain too.
Is it difficult terrain?
Yes,
Wow.
because they're in a gravitational field.
Right.
Forgot that with the first one.
Yeah, he's gonna have to use all of his movement too, just to get out of here, and that's not gonna get him far. The other guy needs to move back a few feet. Okay. The other one is not in the area, so he's gonna use. Alright, so he uses his action. You guys just hear like as the water is displaced by this massive creature moving through it, and then you hear the ooh, I have sound effects for this. You hear the heavy footsteps and trees being kind of moved aside as its bulk is approaching you. And the other two, technically it is in there, so they are both going to have to make saves. If you'll roll the damage one more time just for these, just once for these two, will be fine.
36. So 18 on a fail, or on a succeed.
Ooh, natural 20. So one of them failed, one of them succeeds.
18 for the succeed.
Alright, so 18. to 36. Youch. These also have this, so 20. Man, he's got to dash like hell to get out of there. Alright, that brings it back to the last of the swarms, which is also in the area of effect.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. I don't think this is going to go well. That's a 12. So roll damage for them.
45.
Let's see. So it hurts them. Several of them are crunched. You guys just hear like a sort of like as followed by a these things are like compressed by the force. But they are gonna move difficult terrain 5, 10, 15, 20.
Can't sound not travel out of it?
I guess
That's
that's
true.
true. You don't hear.
We don't hear anything. We're just gearing up on the other side of this darkness, waiting for something to come out the other end. We got no clue what's going on inside the void.
All right, they start making their way around the trees to come from a
I
different
see 'em.
direction. Yeah, turn facing that way, and that brings it to Alexa.
Yes, since I do just see them, and I think they're the only ones I see. If I take a couple steps, that's too many steps. I see nothing. Yeah, I'm gonna do a firebolt and a quickened firebolt at them. Go pew pew.
Both of those hit for 35 total.
Ooh, wrong tab. Yes. 35 fire.
Yeah, you see a couple of these creatures sort of scrabble around the trees. Parts of them cracked and broken, like bits of what look like thin branch structures that substitute for bones, kind of cracked and protruding out of their bark-like skin. Some of their arms dangling useless, some of them kind of hobbling along on broken knees and missing feet, just like weird twig-like growths kind of coming out of the bottom, giving them a little bit to dig the ground with as they limp toward you. You fire off a pair of these firebolts, and much like you've seen Galatar doing with his radiant bolts, you know, one of them hits one, completely passes through it, and engulfs the next one. Another one hits one, knocks it back into another, and they both fall to the ground in a smoldering pile. And they are gone.
Oh, damn.
Is that the end of your turn?
Yes, that will end my turn. Sitting tight, sitting pretty.
Okay.
Also looking into the void now and hoping it doesn't look back.
So you guys have defeated the enemies that immediately came out of the forest near you, as well as the army of sort of Mordrem soldiers that have crossed the river to reach you. You are standing on top of a pile of dead Mordrem, and the riders and their big mounts, the carcasses, everything's just sort of like mounds of yard waste, like bunches of trees and limbs and vine-like growths, but there's all sort of collapsed in on itself, and there's just like littering the floor from side to side of this clearing. It's just corpses. You hear that sound of the creature pushing its way through the trees, the branches and the trunks kind of snapping and bending, its low growl echoing. And you know that there are forces on the other side of the river, though you cannot see them at this time. It is about 6:15. We can call it here if you like. If you're all up for continuing, we could, but this is a good stopping point.
I need to call it, unfortunately.
It's all
I
good.
think I'll need to get
I
some
got a
dinner.
draft of a grant that's due on Friday, and
Fuck a grant.
they just keep roasting me about it, and it is apparently is not very good. This one professor keeps just like shitting on me for it, so you know. And he's
Always
the one who
fun.
has to he gets to grade the final thing, and then of course I went and talked to my PI about it, and she was like, "Well, he's got a point," just of like, "Oh, that's a good idea," and I was like, not that she was being mean to me, but she was like, "Yeah, maybe we should consider doing that." But she was like, "Yeah, I don't know how you're gonna fit that into this grant though," and I was like, "I'm at the page limit, ma'am. I have nothing left."